What's up, and welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight, and I'm here with Real Talk tonight on the 4th of March 2024. I'm talking to Gavin Pepper. You might know him from the number of videos that have gone around on social media, and himself then he's going to be going for election. This is going to be a very important guy, I think, going forward, and I think the fact that he is speaking to politicians the way he is, which is asking them questions that they simply cannot answer, I think it makes him look better, and I think he's a good voice for the people. So we'll be talking to him tonight, and I'm sure there'll be a couple of questions as well to him in the chat. So here he is now. He's Gavin Pepper. Bring him in there. How are we getting on,
How
Gavin?
you doing? How's things, Ninja? It's an honour to be on your show tonight, pal. It's brilliant, and thanks very much for having me on. Can I just give a little shout out to a few people there? Is that
Absolutely.
possible? Just want to
Absolutely.
give a shout. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to all the people, everyone across the country that's out all the time, constantly. The likes of Val, Keith, Ferg, Clive, Bob, my old pal Bob, 100%. Like loads of people. No, but like that it's people. Mick, Toby, the whole lot. Like it's hard to call every name out, but everybody that's out and that is trying to stand up to this stuff that's going on, because it's just people are at the end of the wets with an Ninja, and they just had enough of it, and we're not afraid anymore. You can throw everything in the kitchen sink at us, but it's not going to work anymore. People are awake to what's going on and the scam this government's at, putting other people last.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the fact that you're shouting out everybody there, because it is important, like the likes of Mick O'Keefe and Toby there doing the spaces on Twitter. I think it's been a huge thing for getting the message out, and you can see there with the latest moves, and we'll be talking about that here tonight. With the likes of this Commission on the Mon that we were talking about beforehand, and there was a big laugh there on Twitter. People made a joke out of it by taking Jeremy Godfrey's picture and using it as a profile picture on Twitter. So I thought that was brilliant. But you actually showed up outside Commission on the Mon. So would you be able to tell the people what it is and where it is, and indeed what your plan was when you went there?
Okay, everybody. Yeah, 100% Ninja. So commission them on. I know everybody's giving Mr. Godfrey stick, but this is no joking matter. Commission them on are like that attack on freedom of speech. So these were in Hong Kong. Mr. Godfrey was, and he worked for the Communist Chinese Party, and his job was to censor people. So exactly what they're trying to do here. So he's after being hired by the Irish government, set up Commission them on to censor online content. And what they want to do is censor what people have to say. So it's about taking away our freedom of speech. They'll slowly block little tweets, slowly block little Facebook posts, TikTok, but eventually that they shut down the accounts that are speaking out the most. It's all about keeping the narrative going. And it's dangerous. The Commission them on is dangerous. It's set up to silence people who are in the right at the moment. And I went over to them. I went over to the first building, and what it is, they've actually two buildings. They've moved one building. So you saw me probably at one block of place, and that's empty now. Then I went over to the main one, and what happened was I went up to the door, and they didn't know who I was, and they let me in. And I said, I'd like to speak to Mr. Godfrey. And she said, Grant, sit down there, made me a cup of coffee, gave me the Sunday or the Irish Times, whatever it was, and I was sitting there. And then the staff came down, he left me there for ages, and he realised who I was. And they're like, oh no, we're not letting him in. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, there was no one. And I was at the signing in and all. So and then he came over to talk to me, and you saw the video. I said, listen, what have you got to say about shutting people's voices down? I said, thanks for letting me in. And then, oh, we can't answer that. We can't answer that. Like, and people need to be aware of this. This is no joke. Commission them on are a dangerous organisation, and our plan is to shut down online content. And they'll say that it's misinformation. Look, it's what they declared as misinformation. It's what the government wants. This is all boils down to Helen McEntee's hate speech bill. And it's the most dangerous thing in Ireland, because if you take away people's freedom of speech, you might as well be just turning into a communist country. And that's why I'm fighting now. I want my kids to grow up in a free Ireland, the way we always were as kids. I don't want to live in North Korea. Like, you know what I mean? Communism doesn't work. In any country that's ever tried it, it's failed. It's a simple fact. Free market capitalization causes that's what creates jobs and reduces poverty. You need a mixture of both. You need free market capitalism to pay for social programs. What happens with communism is they go in, they try to do a completely socialized state on, and it works for a couple of years, giving out, and then eventually they run out of money, and it turns into a dictatorship. Communism leads to dictatorship, and I don't want that in Ireland, and I don't think majority of the country do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think if you're well traveled or anything like that, and you've been to a communist country, I think you understand what is coming. A lot of these people that are out there, I've seen a number of videos from during the week there, people that were going out and looking for a no vote, for both no's for the referendum there. And they were talking to people that have absolutely no clue what communism actually does. And I spoke about it previously here on the show. I talked about Mao in China, who decided there was a 4-pest solution. He decided he didn't like 4 different animals, and they wiped them out. And what ended up happening then was it actually caused a famine, because the sparrow was one of the pests that he didn't like. So a famine ensued. He lived on. There wasn't a bother with him there. But that was what happened. And as a result, then communism, then in any other country that I've spoken to people that they hail from, they've all said the same thing. They've all said it's a wholly negative ideology. You know, Venezuela as well too. We've been talking to people from there. You know, Chile. These places have all tried it and it's all failed and it's not going well, and people have suffered for it. And you see people that are out there now that order their Starbucks, they be ordering things there offline saying, oh, I'm doing great things, and I'm putting up a profile picture of a flag of a different country, and you know, communism is great, and you're like, you don't have any sort of idea. So like, I suppose that leads into the next topic then. The people that you encounter then when you were out and you were saying, for example, what Commission the Man is doing and what communism does, what sort of messages are you met with? What sort of response are you met with?
Well, with Joe So people, a lot of people didn't understand it. A lot of people, you see, they don't understand what's happened. Like, with, as you said, a great point is Venezuela. You know, there was a time when they were eating zoo animals in Venezuela, starving. The people crossing the border, trying to get over the border. They don't understand about the oil embargoes and stuff. People don't understand about what's happening in geopolitics, about oil wars and stuff like that. They don't actually understand that. So you're trying to just tell them. They're just following RTA, they're following the mainstream media, and they just go along. Like, I was one of those people. I knew a lot of what's going on, but I was going along with me there. You know, you're happy to just plod along in life. But when you're trying to explain to people communism, you see, you have the likes of Paul Murphy, you have Lou Coattinger, you have Richard Boyd Barrett, and they be extreme communists. That even Sinn Féin, extreme communists. And it's populism politics. They tell people what they want to hear. I mean, I want universal healthcare. I want universal childcare. I want social housing for all. But you need capitalism to pay for it. You can't just pay for this out thin air. And that's what, like, it's a dangerous rhetoric, what they're saying. But they're wording, like, you have to understand, Ninja, I used to work for UPS, and I used to deliver to UCD Belfield. And all over the college, that Paul Murphy, Boyd Barrett would be having seminars. These are going into colleges and talking to kids. And that's why a lot of the colleges kids are woke. You know what I mean? They're just going along with that rhetoric, making them promises that they'll never keep. So they see a housing crisis. An example is they see a housing crisis, and they'll say, "Oh, the government are causing that. It's the government's fault. We'll take over and we'll give everybody a house, right?" And they'll say, "You'll say, how do you do that? Oh no, don't worry about it. We'll just do it." They don't explain to people what they're planning to do. They're just being populist. An example is Greece. Do you remember Greece? Syriza. Yep. Sinn Féin were cheering for Syriza during the crash. Oh, they're the new party. They're going to save the day. They're going to go in. And your man, Alex Tsipras, I think it was, as soon as he went into power, he took the bailout and sold the whole people out. And Sinn Féin went quiet on him. And that's populism politics, telling people what they want to hear, but not delivering it. Immigration is the biggest issue. Immigration affects everything. That's the reality of it. So Ireland is a big tech sector. It's about low corporation tax, and we've brought in thousands of jobs. So it's created thousands of jobs. So Google, Facebook, Twitter, pharma companies, there's loads of companies in Ireland. But a majority of that staff are from outside of Ireland. They're multilingual jobs. They come here for corporate tax reasons. They've drove up the prices of these apartments. These overseas developers, overseas vulture funds who came in during the economic crash after the boom, the Celtic Tiger crash, they bought up everything. And they're the ones renting. So they're throwing out Joe Soap, who can't afford his mortgage anymore, that works in a normal factory job. The government don't care about them. They care about the Facebook techie worker that's on 90 to 100 grand a year. He can afford, or she can afford to pay 3.5 grand a month rent. So the government sell it to the people like, this is good, this is great, but they're leaving the Irish person behind. I believe we need to change that and start putting our own people first. And I don't care what people call me for it, but it's the average Joe So person, and it's the low paid and there's no middle class in Ireland anymore. Middle class in Ireland are emigrating in their droves, and it's mad. The communists are selling it that it's everything is great. You know, Paul Murphy said, no, it's not. Nurses and doctors are emigrating, and teachers. We've one of the best education systems for healthcare or medical in Ireland or in the world. But others are emigrating, and then we're important. That makes absolutely no sense. But it's because these nurses and doctors and teachers can't afford to rent a property or buy a property. There's no future in Ireland. And I believe under a nationalist government, there will be, because we need to put in proposals that put Irish people first. And that's how I feel. I've watched the army life happen. I left school young. I left school at 16. I'm a plasterer by trade. Do you know what I mean? I had to save. I come from poor, and I had to save to buy my home. It's not easy. But now, even that aspiration is not doable. People are going up. They're going to college. They're coming out of college with a degree. They can't even get jobs. Like they're struggling. And the only jobs are low-paid jobs, unless you are a foreign national with multilingual skills to work in one of the tech sectors. And even the tech industry is starting to hemorrhage and let people go. So communism doesn't work.
The tech sector is definitely in big trouble now at the moment, and you can see as well too with the fact that they're trying to clamp things down. And my personal belief is as well, when you're seeing the emergence of AI the way it's coming out now, it's going to take over jobs hand over fist. You've got like AI that's being used as chatbots on various different systems. It's been used on Post, if I remember correctly. It's been used on Amazon as well too. You're talking and you're hearing about drones. Recently I was reading an article there, and it said that drones are delivering food in Dublin 15. And I was looking and I was like, that's crazy. And then they're doing it out in Balbriggan as well. So you're doing away with people that would be there. So, for example, just take that into account for a moment. You've got loads of delivery drivers that are here, a lot of them from South America. Like, what are they going to do when these jobs are taken away from them, by example, with the drones? Like, what happens then? And are you going to have a mass exodus then out of the country, which, you know, I suppose from one aspect, that's possibly a good thing. But from the other, then, when something like that happens, the arse falls out of the place because there's so many people dependent on the money that's coming in and coming out. So, like, you know, it's a very interesting situation, and it's something that I don't think an awful lot of these people in government, you know, I suppose you'd agree with me when I'd say that a lot of them are not making these decisions. They don't make sense. They're being told what to do from elsewhere. So I think that that's a large part of the problem. So when we're looking at people to elect, that needs to be rectified immediately, especially if and I also think then people that are being elected need to be honest and straightforward. We're here, listen, Brussels are telling us to do this. This isn't good. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you just said it. AI. I think so. I think it was the Irish Fox put up a funny video of me as Donald Trump or something. Said Donald Trump saying Gavin and Malibu or something, right? But that's how they sell it. So you made a great point. That people need to understand that they show all the funny videos, you know, and all the fun and how good it can be. That's nothing. That it's going to replace thousands of jobs, accounting jobs, firm jobs, 100%. It's going to wipe out jobs. Then the green agenda. Gonna wipe out jobs, block off the city, stopping people, turn it into a pedestrianisation. They hate industrialization. They hate, like, you know, the industrial evolution. They want to change everything to live in this land where there's no cars, no buses, no nothing, and they think everybody can just walk everywhere. Like you just said it. There's people in low-paid jobs that are going to be left behind, let go. It's a race to the bottom, and in the end, you become surplus to requirements. You're irrelevant then to the state. And you're more of a burden. And that's why this vote no is very important. People need to vote no. There's always hidden context in everything they do. It gives them the power to stop disability and care payments. You're giving them powers to do things by not reading the context. And that's why barristers are coming out and saying things like, well, the government will sell it, they're giving misinformation. No, they want to change it to suit their narrative. Like, you know, there was nothing wrong with the Constitution. It's them that want to change it. They keep changing it to do, saying that, it's for the better than now. No, it's not. It's for what you need it for. And Irish people in general have been like lemons. Like, and I'll say that as my own, as myself, you know, this is Ireland. This sums up Ireland. Okay, everybody in Ireland, we're going to have a referendum. And we're like, well, this is the Lisbon and the Nice, right? And we're going to have a referendum, and it's very easy, people. You either vote yes or no. So the people vote no, and then the government go like this. Okay, now everybody, we're going to do this as many times as it takes till I get it right. As if to say, we're going to do this till you say yeah. And that's the problem we have in Ireland. Democracy is broken. If people say no, it should be just no. People say yeah, it's yeah. You know, and we're heading down a very, very bad patch in the Republic of Ireland, and the people have to keep standing up and fighting back because, like, I'm trying to leave a future for my kids. You know, I'm nearly 40 now, but it's the next gen. Like, Ireland belongs to the Irish people. Look, it's their country. And absolutely. My grandkids, I want my grandkids to reap the rewards of this island. Like I want my culture and heritage and all the things I love to still be part of it. And Ireland, the Irish government have turned it into a joke when you think about it. I mean, look at Paddy's Day. It's for overseas tourists. I remember Paddy's Day when you went in with your family, and I don't bring my kids to the Patrick's Day parade anymore. Like, that's a horrible thing to have to say, but I don't, because it's not a proper parade. It's not all cartoons and shows that it's turned into now fucking men dressed as women and all, and like it's not what it used to be. It's gone commercial, and it's forgetting our heritage and our history and who we are. Like, I want my kids learning about the children of Lair. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Irish history? A big issue I have, Ninja, and it's the history books. I genuinely believe that a history book in our school should be just Irish history. If you want to learn about German history, go over to Germany on holiday and learn about it, or France on holiday. But our history book should be all about our history and our culture, and it should be embedded into our children. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that. That's a good thing.
Absolutely, no, I totally agree. And I mean, I speak to an awful lot of friends of mine that have kids, and you'd ask them about like the 1916 Rising, and a lot of them looking at you blankly. They're looking at you and going, "What?" And then you see the videos that we seen the other night there of that lady Suzanne who went to Mayo, and she was speaking about our children and the fact that they went to a school and they're being talked around in different languages, and the child is obviously, and I mean, to think about it in a child's terms, whatever about us being an adult and being able to be walking around the supermarket and you're looking around, you're seeing what's going on. It's spot the paddy, you can't hear your own or anything like that, and people are nattering the languages around you. For a child, that's even more difficult, because when they feel that isolation, they don't know what to be doing with it. And not only that, then they're isolated, then we're in a room for an entire day. And that's not a good thing whatsoever in our own country. And I mean, that's the thing I keep coming back to, and like you keep coming back to as well. It's our country. And I mean, we've obviously said, and we'll say and continue to say, Japan for the Japanese, Nigeria for the Nigerians, Ireland for the Irish. And it's amazing to think that, and we'll push that into the next topic as well too. You've got people that are out there that believe Palestine is for the Palestinians, but don't believe Ireland is for the Irish. And you've met a couple of these people, and you like to call them head cases. And I have to say, I completely agree with you when you call them head cases. So you spoke about Paul Murphy there, and a chief leader of individuals that like to think ridiculous things. So give us a little bit of a brief. I actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll ask you, what was your entry? What was your entry into waking up as such as to what's going on? That's what I want to do first, and then we'll talk about the Paul Murphy incidents that you had. So where did this all start for you? What was the thing that woke you the most?
I'll tell you what it was. It was more so the migration issue, but I'll be honest with you, Ninja, right? Before I was I was awake to what was going on in geopolitics, in the world. Like, I was awake to that stuff. I was really interested. I was interested in Peter Schiff and the American, the petrodollar and all. I was always into that sort of stuff, right? Yeah. But what woke me up was I was real. You didn't see much of people that were, say, anti-vax on TV. You wouldn't see much of people that were anti-vax on TV. They were just called, say, oh, they're mad, they're misinformation, disinformation. So, like, I'm vaccinated. I got my first and second vaccine. Do you know what I mean? And so did my missus. So what happened was, when town opened back up, right? When town opened back up, I went into town with my two kids. And I was going past, and it was the first time I saw an anti-vax protest. And they were all outside the GPO. And I was going to the pennies with my kids. I had my mask on. My kids had masks on, And I was like, what is this? I hadn't seen it on social media. I just heard about it roughly on the news at the time. And I'd say, oh, they're head cases. They're nuts. Look at them. And one of the people out there who's a good friend of mine now, John Mulligan. Yeah. And John says to me, look at you, you're like a sheep. And she spoke to me, and I was yapping away. And then not long after them was the migration protest started, and people weren't listening to people. And it was really bugging me. I was like, we're full. So when I spoke at the Mansion House, after I spoke, I bumped into Joan, and Joan was speaking to me. So Joan woke me up with a lot of what was going on with the vaccine stuff and stuff like the vaccine injuries. She was the first person to speak to me about stuff like that, and it made me look more in depth into it. Right. And the thing is, what's going on is, right, we're trying to wake up everybody. People that are, there's 80% of people in Ireland are vaccinated, I think. So that means 80% were following the government's narrative and what the government are telling you what's good for you and what's not, and what's right and what's wrong. That 80% has changed now. They don't listen to the government anymore. They don't believe the government anymore because they keep selling lies and lying to people and won't talk about, say, the vaccine injured and stuff like that. And that's a big issue. And
does
that's
that sorry to cut across you, Gavin, but does that anger you more then when you
100%.
believe them and you took that stuff and now you're looking at it and you're like, hang on here for a sec, like what is going through your mind when you know that now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like I say, I've never been mad on the vaccine stuff, you know. But as you said, I'm annoyed that the information is not given 50-50. It's just like you said with the no vote. You know, you go around and you just see vote yeah, vote yeah, vote yes. But the government give it to the like Fine Gael, they won't put no stickers everywhere as well and make it a 50-50 referendum. It's made me watch more. You know, you watch the Tonight Show. It'll be 3 people against John McGough. You know, like the narrative is very bad, and they've exposed it. We've been exposing it now, and we're seeing more. So it angers me more, because the more that angers me is the more I see that they keep doing it. So that's why I said, you know what? The best thing to do is go to these politicians' faces, call them out, and then the whole country can see it. They can only hide so much, Ninja, you know, and a lot of people can't show their faces, you know, like for jobs, and you know, because like, this has affected people's jobs. These people are getting people sacked. You are calling, and I just said, you know what? I'll tell you one thing. When I watch the O'Gorman stuff and stuff like that, the Peter Thatcher stuff, and I said, my kids come first, and I ain't letting them near my kids. Like, you're not going to indoctrinate my kids in a bad way. You know what I mean? You're not going to be teaching them mad shit. I want my kids to grow up learning about Irish history and all like that, and they don't need to be learning these like life studies in school. No, all this nonsense. School is for basic core subjects. So these are the things that are in fire in my stomach to say, no, do you know what? We've had enough of this, and our country's full. Like, you know, you can't just keep bringing it. The mass migration in this country is shocking. And send them home. You know, like it's constant. So you see today, like an example, you're saying what royalty to today. Like even the tents in town. You know, you see what happened with the tents in town with the snow today, right? Well, that's Roderick O'Gorman's fault. Like he promised these men in loads of different languages they have their own door in 4 months. So like we need to send them home. We don't have room for them. Like, you know, my empathy is with the Irish homeless. We already have Irish people live. Like, you don't see News Talk and RTE going around town showing Irish people that are intense homeless. I don't care what their addiction problems are. I don't care. They're people. They come first. And they're in wet, damp weather all through the winter and Christmases and stuff like that. Like, you know, what about them? They're left behind. What about the nearly 14,000 homeless Irish families in emergency accommodation? 4,000 kids. What about them? They should all have a home. No child should be in a hotel or an emergency accommodation for Christmas. Like, and this is what drives me mad. Imagine what that's going to cost us as taxpayers with mental health problems from them poor children who are in a room doing their homework, the same room as their man, all day long. You know what I mean? That can't be good for your mental health. Doctors have said it's development problems when they're trying to walk as kids and all, the space. It's like, it's nothing short of a horror story, and it's going on too long. And like, I don't care about the others. It's our people that need to come first now. It's just, that's the way it is. I have empathy, but my people come first. They've been left behind. 200,000 hospital appointments cancelled, including 650 chemotherapy sessions for young children, Ninja. Like, cancelled, right? Using springs out hardware stores and operations for kids on scoliosis lists. All the while they put 5.5 billion aside for Ukrainians. Like, anybody that thinks that's rational is mad to me. It's my people come first. Like, we have the money. So one thing I'll agree with the left on is, we're flush. Ireland's a rich enough country, but the money's not being spent right. It needs to start being spent on their people. You know, at the end of the day, if you go out to countries like Dubai and all, they look after their people. Their people aren't homeless in Saudi Arabia and all. They look after their people. So we should be looking after theirs. What's wrong with saying that?
100%, and I agree with you with it being flush as well, and the fact that they find money. It's like, you know, Micheál Martin going, we're sending 20 million out of the country. Whoa, hang on there for a second. Where are you sending that to? Who was approving that? Like, the fiscal irresponsibility here. It's like even the return machines, and we'll talk about that here tonight, because we'll talk about the Green Party as we move on. But like, the return machines are machines that are ridiculous things that haven't been working whatsoever, and people have become already annoyed with them. But you know, it's another stealth tax. You know, it's another kind of kicker on down the road that the government will just say, well, this might not work, but I'll tell you what, we'll keep the 25 cent a can in anyway, because it's going to be used for us to be able to do something else that's ridiculous here. So we were talking about it there briefly about Paul Murphy. So you've had a couple of run-ins with two politicians in particular. Well, with Eamon Ryan, you've met a couple of times. I don't think the man seems to recall at times that which he should. You were sitting in front of him yesterday, and I was like, I don't think he realizes this is Gavin from the airport. That's the airport, like, and I was like, this is crazy. But you've had run-ins with two people, and Paul Murphy and Gary Gannon being the two ones there. Now, I was seeing Gary Gannon during the week. A guy called Anto Boyle did a recording on the Lewis and asked him about the immigration issue and the fact that the place was overrun on the Lewis. And Gary Gannon just looked at him blankly, which seems to be the default position of an awful lot of these politicians. They don't seem to argue back. But Paul Murphy, for some reason, finds you to be very, very attractive. And when I'm saying that, I mean, he likes to have a go at you. Do you think that that's fair, or where do you think that stems from yourself?
Look at, well, I've got Paul Murphy loads of times. Paul is, like, I think the whole Dáil is the same personally, Ninja. You know, I think the opposition and they all agree on the same things. There is no opposition in Dáil here, and they're all the same. Paul Murphy to me is just he's a man lost. He's a head case. He lost the battle. You know, like, you know, he's gone to desperation. He can't answer questions. So what they do is they use that Dáil privilege. So they go, it's mad. They want to take away your freedom of speech, but they're in the Dáil calling everybody names. So he uses his Dáil privilege, which he knows that will be in the newspaper tomorrow. The newspaper will sell the narrative to the voter. This is what it's all about. It's all about votes. So they'll sell the narrative to the voter that, oh, look at, he's talking about this person who was at this team. And it only shows bad stuff. It doesn't say anything nice about those people or what those people are trying to say. And that's what he tries to do. And he's tried to do it to me a load of times. But I find the best way to get him is to confront him about it. Straight up, phone in the face, and ask them the questions that RTE will never ask them. Because they can sell whatever they want in a newspaper, but people are seeing this on social media. And this is why Commission the Man is coming in. They want to block this because it's destroying them. Them politicians, like Murphy, you know, can't knock at doors. You know, we have it out in Finglas and Ballymun. They're going to, like, in the last local election, an example is only 13,000 people voted. So they're actually just going to the houses that voted. You know what I mean? They're using on post to send their letters. Like, you know, on post they're posting it. If I'm going door to door with my flyers, I didn't use any company to do that. So when it gets to Paul Murphy, he's just a lost head case. He's a lunatic. I've no empathy for him whatsoever. And you know, he doesn't realise that he's a politician now, but you won't be a politician forever. And you'll be answerable to people when you like. He has special privilege, but when you're not a politician, you're just like me and you. You're an average Joe Soap walking down the road. And I genuinely think that day is coming for him and Boyd Barrett and Gary Gannon. Like, I don't think, like, Gary Gannon's another fella that seems to have an issue with me. You know, you seen what he did with me. Yeah, the people that came to my house and raided my house were in photographs with him. What does that tell you? But that's just another day. Like, so I don't care what they say. You know, he can't answer questions, and that's the main thing. It's a narrative set by the EU, the government are locked into the same thing, and they can't even answer them questions. And yet they're supposed to be local representatives. They're supposed to be a TD, and they can't even answer the public's questions. So I've no empathy for these politicians. I've no empathy, and I do believe. Same with the judges. It's the whole system. Judge Nolan. I mean, people watch your show from abroad. We have a judge in our country, an actual judge that's letting sex offenders and paedophiles off the beat the band with suspended sentences. People that are having thousands upon thousands of child images, like filth content on their phones and laptops now, and they're getting suspended sentences. Like, that's not normal. Like, that, anyone that thinks that's okay deserves to be locked up along with them. Like, I want the government in power that will lock these people up doing this for 20, 30 years. You'll never get out. You'll never get out of prison under the nationalist government. And we need a new prison. We'll build a super prison. Like, and that's as simple as that. Because, and if you're a foreigner that does it, you're going to get deported. Why should our taxpayers pay you? You should be vetted coming into our country. We have a lot of problems. It stems from the judicial system right through the Dáil. The whole thing is corrupt. And there's so many loopholes in it. You know, you take them ideal care home. O'Gorman again. You know, unvetted staff. We've unvetted staff looking after children in state care, the most vulnerable kids in the country who've already had a heart, who are already coming from the worst of backgrounds. God love them. And then the people that are being put into are not even checked. Like, you couldn't script what's going on in Ireland. Like, it's like watching a horror film only it's real. That's my version of it. Yeah,
It's
they're
demonic, is,
demons.
you know what I mean?
Like, fair just power said
Exactly.
right when he says these people are demons. Like, it's heartbreaking.
Now, just for that point there, Gavin, I was messaging you just back there, right? We're still live, obviously, but I have to be honest with you. The chat are saying it down there again, and I didn't believe that there was interference on this platform before, but I certainly do now. I absolutely believe unequivocally that there's interference on this platform, because every single time someone's talking about something, they're telling the truth, these type of things happen, and it's no mistake, is what my belief is now. So, Gavin, I do apologise. Can
No,
you
don't apologise. It happens on the faces all the time, pal. They're trying to shut us down because they don't want working class people to speak out against them. Like, because when you look at an injury, like, I'm not the demographic that they expect to do this. I'm a taxi driver. I bring autistic children to and from school every day. Do you know what I mean? I'm a worked all my life, and I'm still to this day. And I'm not the demo. I'm the person that, as I said, they expect to just go along, not pay attention, go watch the football match watch the Liverpool United match on Saturday, and not pay attention to what's going on around them. And when people like me speak out, all the people they understand. So I just tell people as it is, and so do you, and so do. And a lot of people have been trying to do this for years, and you drowned them out. But now it's come back to haunt them. So definitely the internet, like, they do it on the space all the time, especially with my phone. I do some half the time I have to go in on Lindsay's phone. And it works grand when I'm on Lindsay's phone, but it switches me off all the time when I'm on the spaces with Mick and Toby. Like, cuts me out all the time. And that's because of that. Like, I have no doubt. But it won't stop me from speaking. They won't stop. All they're doing is making me more want to come out for them. You know what I mean? Like, Roderick can hide as much as he can. I'll tell you he's a good hider, but I will catch him and I'll call him out when I see him. You know, like, you can't escape those people.
The Bork family got him there last week or the week before, was it? There, they got him nicely. They did, fairness to them, and big shout out obviously to Enoch Bork as well. The fact that he's still behind bars and this lunatic asylum is still running with people that are getting, like you said there before we got cut off, suspended sentences and stuff like that. Like, I read a story there today, and it was about a fella that was at a party who passed out, and this fella was at him. and his girlfriend came in and interrupted what was going on like that. The guy was absolutely out for the count, and there was this guy sitting there at this guy, and I'm like, that's obviously not your man's first rodeo doing that sort of stuff there to someone who's unconscious. And then they're like, yeah, no, it's okay. We'll look at it a different way. This guy has obviously got something wrong with him. And you're like, this is the default excuse every single time. People have mental health issues, and especially as well too when it's someone that's from outside of this country. I heard that with my own 2 ears from someone not too long ago, where they went, oh yeah, your man there from the Parnell Street incident there where he attacked children in broad daylight, he had a mental health problem. And you're looking at these people and you're like, I didn't think people would swallow bricks that the news give them, but these people, there's people that are out there that are swallowing these bricks. It's absolutely incredible. So going on what you were saying there as well too, you're talking about Tusla and giving the background to that one there between that and the deletion of files. Would you be able to chat a little bit more about that just to keep people in the know as to what's going on there?
100%. So everybody watching, Roderick O'Gorman was sent files involving the abuse of young children by an ex-judge, Judge Damon Sims, right? And he admitted his department deleted them files. This is the Minister for Children in this country, right? Like 24 kids went missing in state care in January, right? Ideal care homes, unvetted staff. Like it's one thing after another with Roderick O'Gorman. And he's in photographs with Peter Tatchell. For the people that don't understand, Peter Tatchell, well, they do not now know, Peter Tatchell is an activist who wants to lower the age of consent for adults to be with children. He says this himself on a documentary. You see him saying it. There's articles of him admitting it. Yet, our Minister for Children is in photographs of him. At the end of the day, me personally, I think the Minister for Children should be a mother that has children. Like it shouldn't be a man. It should be a mother that has children. And I'll tell you why. It's not. And the last Minister for Children, she was the one, but she had no kids, I don't think. Did she? Catherine Sapone?
No, and another one that's gay as well. And Maria Walsh is another one that's out there now running around talking about hate speech. And ironically enough, wasn't able to mention the children that were attacked in broad daylight, but was super concerned about the fact people were talking on Twitter, and she didn't like that. And another one that's imported from America and shares similar views to these people. Fairly interesting. Sorry, keep going there.
No, this is the point. This is why they're doing it. So for the people watching, this is what. So let's say you're the Minister for Finance, Ninja, right? We just break this down to people so you understand easy, right? So say you're the Minister for Finance, right? And I'm a mother. I'm the Minister for Children, right? So I know what single mothers need and what families need and tax breaks, like what Hungary does, right? So if I come to you, what am I going to look for every year at budget? I'm going to look for a lot of money. I'm going to be saying, I want this, I need this, we need childcare, we need universal childcare, and we need a stay-at-home pay, because I think every parent, every mother, stay-at-home mother deserves a weekly core welfare rate. But it's the hardest job in the world. Anybody that says any different is wrong. It's easier to grow up and go to work. Looking at our children is the hardest job, and every mother, that's why I'm voting now, is that legends and these are heroes, and you deserve a weekly payment, and carers needs to be non-means tested. So that they would ask for more in the budget. But when you have Roderick O'Gorman, who has no children, he's not going to be looking for much. So it suits the government that it's a man like him. He's not like, he'll just say yeah, but he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand how we feel about the unvetted men. Like, you know, he doesn't have daughters. Like, I have 3 daughters. I have to worry about my girls. You know, I want my girls to grow up, be able to wear what they like, go out and feel safe. And anybody who wants to take that away from me, I'll just go to town on you. Because no, we grew up, girls deserve to be respected. You know, they deserve to be able to go out and enjoy themselves and not have to have some foreigner ogling them. Now, I'm not saying Irish people don't harass women, they do, but the facts of the matter is it's more foreigners doing it than anyone these days. And that's what's happening. I'm a taxi man, you get into my car every weekend. Driver, please, will you take me? So Roderick O'Gorman doesn't understand that. The government don't have any concern for the safety of the citizens. Like, you form a government, the core issue should be safety and security of your country. That should be the #1 thing. Keeping all your citizens safe. Sure, if you can't do that, what sort of government are you? And our government have mass immigration of unvetted people that we don't know who they are or what their background is. Like, that's paddywhackery. That's pure madness. So he needs to resign. He needs to resign because he's the Minister for Integration. He's the one bringing them in. He has to go. He's a shambles. And the reason why he's still in power, in my opinion, is he has stuff on them. Because there's nobody that can sit back and say they faith in that minister. There's absolutely none. And I remember something, Ninja, I don't know if you remember it, right? There was a time Roderick O'Gorman was on telly And it was a time he was being called out by a committee about money he took for the LGBT community. It was money that he took for his department, right?
Yeah.
And when it was said to him, he answered real sharply and he says, ha ha ha, don't give me all that. We know what goes on in here. And your man, and everybody went quiet on the panel. It was a real case of you bring me down, I'll bring you down.
Yeah.
They're all corrupt. It's like even the RTE show. It's like Sesame Street. The RTE in the, that's all it is. It's a Joe Catcher man. He's resigning. We send him Backhorse. Backhorse and Leo met months ago. They met months ago about abolishing the TV license to pay. Backhorse wants me and you to pay it through our taxes, pay his wages. It should be defunded and shut down. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. RTE is a joke. And everybody in the world watching this, they're a joke. They should be shut down and closed down altogether. And they're not a state broadcasting services. They're a state broadcasting scam. And that's the whole thing is a joke. The public's accounts me. All it is more taxpayers' money being used to have these tribunals. It's absolutely insane. And it's wasting your money and nobody gets punished for it. It's all a slap on the wrist and don't do that again. Or you offer a golden handshake of 450 grand or 6. Do you know what I mean? Enough to buy a house again. But they don't be accountable. We need a government where everybody's accountable. Where if you do something wrong, you can go to prison for it. You're not exempt because you're a politician. Like, I want one where people on the street come up to you and say, I'm not happy with that. You know, we need to look into this, where investigations are properly investigated, not your mate investigating you. You know what I mean? It's like even when I made a report with the Gavin thing, like who's a sippo or something? That's them investigating themselves. You waste your time. I got the answer back, that's what we can do. Like, it's a waste of time. There's no proper investigation into it. They're going to win no matter what you do. And what we need is change. We actually need a change, like a proper change, a restructuring of the entire system, the judicial system. I would be a believer of I think Ireland should bring in capital punishment. If you commit serious crimes against children or murder and serious crimes, I believe in capital punishment for that. I believe in life. I believe in life. Not 15 years. Not your man getting 2 consecutive sentences. Because people get mixed up. You get 2 life sentences for killing the 2 guys. You didn't. You got 1 sentence because you only served the 1 life sentence. Now, we might do a little bit longer, but that's not the point. Life should mean life. If you take people's lives or you ruin some girl's life, if I sentence you to life, you should spend the rest of your life till you die in prison. I don't want to have empathy for you. I have empathy for the victims. What about the victims? An example, I'm sorry if I get upset over this, but it does bother me. An example of Judge Nolan letting off these sex offenders, you know. People don't think about it. He might say, oh, he's sorry. Tell that to the thousands of kids on them images. They're all victims. They're all victims of human trafficking and God knows what else. Where's their justice? They don't get any justice. We live in a country where if a girl is sexually assaulted in their country, they gets put on the stand and then they have solicitors saying, what were you wearing on the night? And all their judges are ex-defense lawyers. So they have a little bit of empathy for these criminals. You know, that's the reality of it. It's a big scam. But then they're asking what they were wearing and what, you know, making them feel uncomfortable. Hang on a minute. I only care about did you do it or did you not do it? You know, did you do this crime? It shouldn't matter how the girls go out dressed. You know, they're allowed to go out and enjoy themselves and feel safe. If you commit a crime, you should do the time. And if it's really bad, capital punishment. That's my personal opinion on it. I just think we need a complete overhaul of the Irish system. Because Helen McEntee is out of her depth. She's out of her game. She needs to resign. We have an ex-MI5 man, Drew Harris, the Gleneen gang and all that. He's in charge of the police. Mary Lou McDonald's in photos with him. I look at this, it's Paddy Wackery. What? It should be an Irish man or an Irish woman. Why is it a foreigner in charge of the gang?
I think that's the point, though, like you're saying there as well. When you're seeing the likes of the GRA voting very heavily against them, and then you see what's behind them, then a lot of people forget that there's a Canadian woman that's in the wings there as well too, waiting, and she's just as bad, if not worse. And when it eventually happens, because it will, when Harris either steps down, steps aside, wherever it might be, that she'd be the one to walk into that position then, and things are going to get real interesting from there on out, because they're already testing the waters with the likes of Helen McEntee and the fact that you can't criticise her because she is a woman. The Catherine Martin one should be gone a long time ago, since that she was talking about setting up a commission, essentially what has been set up now. what is trying to take away people's freedom of speech.
Mm.
They should have been gone at that point in time. And not only that, then, like you're saying, Paddy Wackery, this isn't a serious country. It is not a serious country. It's a pure banana republic. Leo Varadkar was under criminal investigation. That went nowhere. The DPP just decided not to prosecute him. You have people running around doing all sorts of ridiculous things here, and none of them are being arrested. Meanwhile, they're showing an awful lot of interest in people on Twitter who are talking about what's going on, the fact that they feel like strangers in their own countries, and they're trying to invent this nonsense. They're calling people racist for this sort of stuff, for noticing what's going on and questioning what's going on. And I think that's an important thing. And I think that draws back to what you were saying earlier on when you were talking about people that were suspicious of the narrative, specifically with the whole scam that was pulled in the last couple of years over the sniffles. Like, excuse me, I appreciate the fact that you were saying, you know, you were looking at it and going, what is going on here? But the more you've gotten involved in it, then you're saying, right, I can see where things are going from here on out. And, you know, people like yourself, I've always wondered whether they were out there, whether they were enraged by what was told them before, which was a lie. And then this is all compounding that whole thing, which I think is super interesting as well. And that's where you're coming from with regards to this election coming up. I'm sure you're going to be running as a local independent, or are you going to be running with a party, or what's the plan there?
No, I'm running as a local independent in Finglas and Ballymun, and please God, you know, I'm out doing my flyers, and you know, anyone in Finglas and Ballymun really appreciate you out, you know, and we have to try, and I hope all the others that are in parties and stuff get voted across the country as well. Like, we need loads of people. I think that it is going well. I think that we will win. I don't mean I win in the election. I mean we as fight back against this establishment trying to stop us speaking out will win, because they're being exposed left, right, and centre. It's absolutely a joke what's going on in the Republic of Ireland. You've summed it up. It's a banana republic. It's not taken seriously. Like, it's just not taken seriously on the world stage. You know, like the green agenda. There's so much problems in this country that it's farcical, and people are really suffering. Poor people, lone parents, working class, middle class are struggling, the farmers are struggling, the fishing industry is destroyed. And now, as you said, I feel like a stranger in my own country. Like, you know, like you walk down the road and you feel like a stranger. That's how it is. You know, people aren't saying, hey, and you know, the way we're Irish people, we're friends. That's what you made a good point about the racism thing. You know, the reason why people know that it's not me. For instance, one of my friends, Liz, mainly Lynn's friend, is from Nigeria. You know, and she does the nails. Her daughter Simone is one of my daughter's best friends. Like, I bring these to the Ireland home soccer matches together. Do you get me? Like,
yeah.
It's farcical. That whole far right racist crap, that just doesn't work. It's nonsense. Everybody knows it's nonsense. Like, I don't entertain it. The more they say it, the more I laugh at it. Now, I don't care what they call me, because it just, people know the reality of what's going on. And it's just a bunch of corrupt politicians in Dáil Ireland making serious decisions that for years didn't really affect us, but now they're really affecting us. They're affecting across the nation. They're putting people into dire poverty, massive layoffs, people struggling with that, can't rent houses, can't buy houses. It's having effects across it. And now people are stepping up saying, no, we're not putting up with this. Like, we future generations. But that's it, Ninja. We future generations that we have to care for. It's not about me. It's about the next few generations. We have to make sure that they're covered and that they have something to be left in. This country, people fought. People died for my right to vote. People died so my kids could enjoy freedom. Nah, I'm not giving it away. Why should we give it away? Why should we give that away? That's their freedom. I'm not giving it away. And I'll tell you, I will not be living in a communist country. It's not going to happen. So, you know, you can bring in whatever they want, but Drew Harris, you're not wanted. The Helen McAtee, you need to resign. Right? The whole thing needs to change. They're all a shower of corrupt politicians. So, coming back to the local thing, yeah, like, you know, I look at my area. You ask me why I'm doing in my area. My area is neglected. I live in Finglas. Like, there's no boxing club. That's something I'm speaking out heavily about. No boxing club. And when I said this to local councillors, their answer was, they're doing up one of the football team's pitches, right? And they're like, there's 300 members there. This is my point, right? And I was like, yeah. And they go, but only about 20 or 30 people that go to a boxing club during the week. Now, this is just an example. And I'm like, but that's 20 or 30 kids off the street. Like, these people don't understand. Like, 40% of the kids in Finglas and Ballymun, the boys nearly, are dropping out of school before sixth year, between fourth year and sixth year. And the summer projects have been cancelled. You know, like when we were kids, you're my age group, I think. When we were kids, we used to be brought up. We were brought everywhere. We were brought down to Cabin Centre for a week. We were brought to Bray. Like, I'm going to give a shout out actually to Mark Green and Joe and the people at the Dunnicarney Youth Centre. They brought us everywhere. Got us our apprenticeships. All through the summer, they bring us out to play. They bring us, as I said, loads of places. American basketball coaches over teaching us basketball. Something every day. So when you have them things on, what are you not? You're not on the street hanging around. So 90% of them kids will never be involved in crime. Like kids that play Gaelic, hurling, football. This is how you stop crime. You invest in communities. But our government are not. They're spending more money on overseas problems and helping other people's problems and not our problems. So I want money put back into my community. And I want other politicians that are running to get it put into their communities and look after their people and their kids. Because that's where they should be going. Because at the end of the day, it's their taxes. And it should be spent on people.
100%. And do you feel as well too, Gavin, because I suppose this is a bit of a difficult question as well too, do you feel if you're going in as an independent that you could be swimming against the stream? And as so far as like when you have mega parties that are out there, and when I say mega parties, I do believe that like one person and a couple of people can make a big change. Like you see what Matty McGrath's doing there, and you're seeing as well too, even over the last couple of days, even though ain't too, like I wouldn't be huge fans of them or anything like that, but at least I'm making a little bit of noise, and a little bit of noise is what I like, but I want things done about it. You know, when we're talking about resignations as well too here, I'd rather arrest personally myself. I know some people think that is extreme, but I don't think it's extreme from what you're saying. You know, I think over the course of history, we've seen people be arrested for far less than what some of these people are doing.
I'd love Roger to be arrested and investigated. I think he should, all his devices should be inspected and all with all them deleted files and all. Look, I agree with you to an extent. Absolutely. But we need resignations. It's just the laws in Ireland. We need to change them. As I said, what you were saying, if we change that, the law would be that you can arrest politicians. As I said, everybody, there can be no special person. You know, we go back into the days of the church, what happened in the church in Ireland, and now we're saying we're trying to better things. And I'd be a staunch Catholic. So I'm saying nobody should be exempt for crime. If you commit a serious crime, whether you're a big executive or whether you're a politician or whether you're Joe Soap on the road, you should be arrested and investigated that properly. You know, there should be no special treatment for anybody in the country. The law should be the law and nobody above it, and including judges.
Especially when you have the likes of, you know, the treason and traitorous nature of things that are going on as well too. But going back to what I was saying there, as an independent as well too, how do you think that will, like, do you find that that's going to be something that will be difficult, or do you think that there might be a possibility that you might join a party later on down the road? What is your plan with regards to that there? Would you stay independent or would you join a party?
Well, I'm going independent, and like I said, I'm going into the locals to see how I do. I never rule out anything. You know, you couldn't think that down the line. But I'll tell you one thing: I'll never join one of them politicians like parties in the dollar around like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it will be a nationalist, one of the parties, like, you know, I'm like one of the like IFP or Ireland Force or something like that. Like if I was to ever join a party, it would never be them head cases and all. That's one thing. I'll never. People can go on and say what you want about me. Even people on the road, no matter what, you'll always get people going at you. I will never turn me back on my people. Like the Irish people are my people, and I believe they should come first. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I don't rule out down the line, but at the moment, because I first came out Ninja, like, and I'm speaking about how I feel, and like you know what I'm seeing around me. And how I feel people are being left behind and all that. Like, you know, they things I see, and I worry about my kids and my safety and my family. And then I see the homeless people and how they're treated and the situations they're in. Then I see the addicts on the street. You know, I don't care what someone's like addiction issues are. Like, they're people, so they should be helped, and they should be getting the proper help, not just pushed to the side. Ireland has this thing where well, he's a drug addict. You know, he made them decisions. I don't care what anyone says, Ninja. No child when they were a kid said, I want to be a drug addict when they're older. There's something that led to that. So we have an obligation to look after our citizens. That's how we feel, you know. And I believe we can change. I believe we can make a better country where we look after. I believe under a nationalist government, right? Honestly, within a few years, the people will see the benefits. The Irish people will see the benefits of what they'll get and how they're being looked after. And that will far outweigh what he had before. You know, but it takes time. It can't be done overnight, obviously. But, like, you know, down the road, we believe that we can really strive for a better country, because right now we're living in a banana republic where Irish people are like third class citizens. They're not second class or third class citizens, left behind in our own country, and we're paying for it. It's madness.
It is crazy, and I suppose the next question I would have towards you would be, what way do you think, and what do you think would be the initial policies, the way to turn it around, to turn it back to being more towards Ireland? What would be your ideas? What would be the policies that you would try to bring in?
Well, things I'd love to say is, as I said, our history book should be just Irish history. Irish history. Kids' skill books should be just, there's nothing wrong with Cinderella and all that. There's nothing wrong with what the kids, the basic, cartoons and whatnot. Like this woke crap they're learning, like maths, English, Irish. The school should be only for core subjects, stuff that's going to help a child, get a job when they're older, learning business studies and all that, support that. But you don't need to be learning sex education in school. Like, that's not for kids. That's for adults. Like, it's mad what they're trying to teach the kids. So I would eradicate that. I believe tax breaks for families. So I like the Hungarian model to an extent. I believe any family that has kids should be getting massive tax breaks. It's the hardest job in the world. We should be helping people. So we pay their mortgage, big interest rate cuts. The government subsidising the mortgage to help the people. And if you have kids, written off debt. Like better breaks as the more kids you have, because you're repopulating the country. We have a low birth rate at the moment, so we have to look after our people, Ninja, Same with women at home, or a man at home if he stays at home, whichever wants to stay at home, but a weekly payment for that person, and not to be means tested. But why should it be means tested? Why should the government be saying, oh, well, he earns 700 quid a week, but so she gets nothing? But she has the children, she gets up every morning, dresses them kids, feeds them kids, brings them to school, collects them from school. The hardest job in the world is a mother, and we actually, that's the mad thing. I'm saying this as a man. Ireland treats women like shit. We're the ones that want them to be treated with the super respect they deserve, and the government are able to sell down some narrative that we're the bad guy. I don't get it at all. It's mad when you think about it, the women vote no and protect the constitutional right of the mother in the home. She's the number one. She's the rock. No man, I love me dad, but I love me mom more. Every son loves their mom more than anything in the world. Because our moms, they're the best in the world. They mean everything. That's why we're so protective of it. It's like our sisters and our daughters. We're extra protective of them because of how much love we have for them. And our government just don't see that. So I would want tax breaks for families. I would want massive round of social housing. We need that. 14,000 homeless should be a house. So I would be deporting all these illegal immigrants for starters. They all have to go. I have no empathy for them. I honestly don't. Out you go. I would be cutting the tax breaks for these multinationals, right? Vulture funds, every single one of them gone out of the country. I don't care what you invested. Them apartments would be freed up, and them houses would be freed up for the homeless families that we have, and the people that are trying to buy a house. Reductions in the interest, if the more European rates, we need to get out of Europe and set our own rates so people can afford housing. The Sinn Féin talk about dropping houses to 300 grand, and you ask Mary Lou how you're going to do it. She can't give you an answer because she doesn't want, because she knows she can't do it because she agrees with the WEF. She's following the European model. I don't. I believe we should pull out that and start looking after the country, do our own finances, and look after the country ourselves, and start housing our own people and making it affordable for their nurses and doctors. That's what I mean. Our nurses and doctors, we want them to come home and work in this country. It makes no sense them emigrating. It's mad. So I believe free education. We also need, what else we need? They are starting to do it, but the lunches, see in schools, I believe under the national government, I would like to see all the schools get free lunches, like they do. But I mean breakfast clubs for the kids, especially for poor kids, but for every kid, so no one's left behind, right up to college, and free college places. Now stuff like that makes a difference to people because they struggle. The college kids can't even afford to rent in the city. If someone's living now in Otley, they're being charged 15 grand or something to stay in. It's madness what they're paying. They can't afford it, so they can't even go to college.
Yeah. It's like figures of houses now as well too, Gavin. As you're saying there, and it does directly tie. The immigration problem is a massive problem. It creates so many others. As you said there, the health crisis problem, the housing problem, the criminality as well too, because you're seeing all of that rise from that one issue. And it's talking about, I don't know about you, but certainly, and it wouldn't be we wouldn't be asking you yourself or anything like that. But there's people that are out there that, you talk to the generation that are before us, and they'd say to you, "I bought a house for 20,000, a lot of money back then and all that." And you're saying, "Yeah, absolutely." And over the course of time, obviously the inflation went through the roof there, and they end up continuing to pay things. But you're looking at a house nowadays, and you're not paying any less than six figures for it. Nobody's doing that on their own. So, I mean, you're going to have to do that with someone else, whether it be with a buddy or whether it be with a significant other. And then you have basically a situation where people might be in bad situations when they're there, and they might not want to be staying with the person that they're with, or they might fall out with that buddy, and then someone saddled them with an awful lot of debt. But that shouldn't be the case when you have so many resources here in this country, but it's been given away hand over fist, willy-nilly, to people coming into the place. And another thing that I'd like to see policy-wise is when you're talking about housing as well too, there, it's something that the Scandinavian countries did recently, where they had sections that they were like, absolutely nobody from outside of this country can be buying property here. And I thought it was a good idea because, I talked to a lot of people that go to do house viewings, and they talk about when they view Asians or Indians at the viewing. And I always say to them, I bet you that you won't sniff that place, because they don't, because those people, unbeknownst to an awful lot of people that are out there, gather their money together, and whether it be 4 or 5 families, perhaps they're gathering money together, they can blow people out of water. There definitely needs to be a policy enacted with regards to that, because how can two people that are working, for example, and again, I'm not looking down my nose or anything like that at people, and I wouldn't, but if you were two people, if you were a bloke on a board that's working in Tesco, how are you supposed to be outbidding 4 families of people from India? It's impossible.
This is a big issue. That 100%. You just said it. Like, my cousin's fella only bought a house recently there in Finglas, and he's been looking. Do you ever see these ads? An example is the ads now. Buy a house with AIB. And you see these pictures of couples. It's all nonsense. They get approval and they can't find a house. And he told me every single queue we went there, he was the odd time he'd see an Irish person, but it was mainly foreigners, and they were outbidding them to beat the band, 500 grand. And you're like, how? So the system in Ireland is designed for the multi-tech sector. So this is what's happening. The Irish government want a man to be on 80 grand, a woman to be on 80 grand, have no kids, and the house to be 500-600 grand. That's the reality of it. It's just the walking till you die sort of attitude. That's what they want to up the pension age. It's shocking. So young couple, like this is the point, young couples that work in McDonald's and Tesco who don't qualify for HAP or don't qualify for social housing, they're not getting any help. Like, it's madness. They don't get a medical card, but yet the 100,000 illegal immigrants that came into the country get a medical card. Like they all get free healthcare and free accommodation, free housing, free food, free Wi-Fi, free everything. But yeah, here people in these low-paid jobs don't get anything. And what happens? The hospitality sector. So what do they do? Because I've seen that 2020, I think it is, model. What do they say? Oh no, we couldn't get enough staff. They want foreign nationals to work in these jobs, so they don't have to up the pay. Your man that owns Supermax is a big one. Call him, I don't care. He's one of them. They want to pay people low wages. And that keeps the price low. It's a race to the bottom. That's what it is. And eventually, if they had that way, they'd have machines making the burgers and whatnot to get rid of it. It's just a race to the bottom for big, rich people to make an awful lot of money while poor people struggle. And you just said it. The person in Tesco is left behind. The person that works at McDonald's, that works the cleaners. And these are all here people. We're from working-class areas. So, they're my people. Some people might have great jobs, but some people are working. And there's nothing wrong with someone that works in Centra or that works. I'm a taxi driver. That girl should be able to afford to rent in this city, be able to afford to buy a house. So the government needs to be bringing in tax breaks to do that. And if you want to have kids, extra tax breaks and extra monthly payments to help them. What's wrong with that? The money's there to do it. It's not like you don't have it. You can afford to do it. They just don't want to do it. They have a demographic. An example is lending the money. That's another big issue. Look at those rigmaroles that people have to go through. Some people have, say, certain medical conditions like asthma, and the banks are saying no. So, such a big rigmarole for someone to get a loan for a house. They're being torn down by minuscule stuff. How many kids have you got? They put that as a payment. That's a burden on you. Yeah. So 3.5 times your income. I think it's up to 4 times your income. Now, I agree with the restraints on to not let go, but you shouldn't be letting the house be 400, 500 grand in the first place. We need a correction. There needs to be a correction. No house is worth that money. It's just about, it's gentrification. That's what it is. It's gentrification. And for the people that don't understand what gentrification is listening tonight, gentrification is stony battle. So they take an area, they put in these tech workers, so they slowly wean the original people that live in there out, and then them house prices rise. As he said, as Ninja said, they were 20 grand, he raised them up to 450 grand. Then the Irish person ends up moving out farther to North County Dublin, down the country, and farther and farther and farther. And then Dublin becomes this big hub of foreign workers. You're being literally shoved out of your city because it's unaffordable. And the government's attitude is, don't mind them, don't mind them. Worry about these big rich people. Worry about the big high pay people. Well, no, we've had enough of it. We've had enough of it. I don't want a San Francisco here where we have loads of people in tents on the street while these people are walking around with €7 mocha coffees living on another planet. Like, we're not going to ignore their poorer people. People on low and middle incomes need to be looked after in this country. And it's gone insane. You just said it, 6-figure sums, mad money to buy a house. And the problem is, and I tell this to the people before profit and Sinn Féin are not the answer. They're telling you what they want to do, but they're saying for everybody. Mathematically, that's impossible. Rory Hearn, another Mickey Mouse fake housing activist. I hate the man. Dave McWilliams, another joke. Listen to what they're saying. They're saying to you that we need these people that are great workers, and then they're talking about a housing crisis. If you have 40,000 houses and there's 40,000 people looking for them, you bring in 100,000 people more. So that's 140,000 looking for the 40,000. What's going to happen? The price goes up. It's basic economics, supply and demand. And as an Irish person, the person with the most money is going to get that house. And that's the way they do it. We need to change that. It shouldn't be about wealth and richness. It should be about looking after your people. And Dave McWilliams is sellout. Rory, they're all fake. And for the people who don't care, they'll call them out. They are all fake. They all said these things that I'm saying, some of them years ago, but now they're just on the government NGO gravy train. Go along with the programme and you'll be in the club. It's a club, it's a clique, and it's a gravy train. And that gravy train is coming to its last station. I'm telling you now. And they're all going to be held accountable. And they'll be all assets frozen. Anybody that corrupted has to be held accountable.
You're getting a lot of love in you're getting a lot of love in the chat, which is a brilliant thing as well too. The chat are delighted to see you here, and that's why I was saying to you before the stream started. I'm sure you don't mind me saying, but I was saying to Gavin before the stream started that he should actually start up and have his own YouTube channel, because there's some people that this is probably the first time they've seen you. I showed a video, I think, on the last stream 2 weeks ago where you were involved, and I said I'm going to have Gavin on now, where you're talking to Paul Murphy and the lead up to what went on there. And I'm sure that, like, I've mentioned you throughout the streams, but I think a lot of people that are here are like, they didn't really know, and now they do. So I think you should definitely start the YouTube channel and keep a Rumble one there as well too, because that's always handy in case something goes P-tong, you know. But jumping into the chat there, we've got Owen Lyons that says, this is our country, Ireland, what's going on now in Ireland is an absolute disgrace. Hashtag Ireland is full. Absolutely 100% agree. Oxygen Advocates in here says, this dude is brilliant. Base Ferg as well too. Ferg Powers in here, he says hello. Absolutely brilliant to see him here tonight. Ferg is another guy that's just a wonderful character, and a fella that just doesn't, you know what, and it's something I said about
himself. Yeah. He's a father that loves his kids, that wants his kids to have a good future, that sees what's going on in this country. He's the exact same. That's all we are. And we're looking at it and we're saying, this has gone an absolute joke. That's why we're
just what I wanted to say, Gavin, as well too, was that you were actually in the same area as Desi Ellis. Now, I did a video and I spoke about Desi Ellis on stream at length about what he was saying and calling Irish people racists, and he's a Sinn Féiner, and you're standing in the same area. Now, I think that makes an awful lot of sense, because a lot of people are saying they're loving the passion here that you're showing, they're liking the policies that you're putting forward as well too, and that they would vote for you if you're to stand in the general election. And I think that's had an impact on the likes of the Desi Ellises of the world, where they go, oh, I'm not committing to whether I'm going to go for an election because I'm not sure how it would pan out. And I think that is a big thing that for yourself and Ferg, I know Ferg is going to be running as well too. I'm hoping Philip Dwyer is going to be running where he's running, you know, and an awful lot of candidates. I think what should happen really, and this is the thing, and I think it's a nice thing to be able to come together on this, I think people should sit down and they should say, right, we're going for this area here, and do it like that. That's what Sinn Féin and others did. You know Owen O'Brien, and you're talking about housing there, and that's why I'm linking him into this situation and conversation. They have moved him around different constituencies. So to me, what should be happening is nationalists should be sitting down, getting together and going, okay, where can we go? Well, Gavin Pepper's running in fingers. Happy days. Tell you where we'll go to. We'll go to Ballybrack. Get someone out there. Get someone out in Ballyfermot. Get someone out there in the likes of Ballybock or whatever it might be. Get someone out there in Tallaght. That's what I think needs to be happening to take the power away from these people. And I hope that people, nationalists on our side of the fence here, sit down and do that, because I think that that's hugely important going forward. And that will definitely, I think, turn the tide in what's going on. You know, that's my personal belief, but it might not be the belief of everyone else that's around there. But we shall see how things go. One thing I wanted to ask you, Gavin, as well, too, and it's just something that, you know, of course, it comes up, it does in conversations and stuff like that, particularly on Twitter. There's this Paul Murphy accusation that's going around that's calling you a landlord. Now, I'm going to preface that by saying, like, if someone's doing well in life, I said it on the stream previously, I'm just like, that's what they're doing. I mean, a lot of the TDs, I think it's funny Paul Murphy is calling someone a landlord or some sort of slight, but he doesn't say that in the doll to the other people that are there that are landlords, which is quite funny. I just wanted to give you a chance to respond on that, because a lot of people that have been asking questions about it and what's going on with that, and they wanted to know.
Yeah, right. So, as I said, the Sunday war cleared it up. I only owned one house. The guy owned the house that I live in. Now, did I ever rent rooms out in my home that I own? Yeah. But I don't have 3 homes, Ninja, or anything like it. I have one home that I live in. That's it. The stories are manipulated, and they start and are grown and are brought into totally different opinions of what they are. So no matter what I say, people just keep saying the same crap. Like that, they try to say I have 3 gaffs. You could check it yourself in the live register. I own one house and I live in it with my family, and that's the way it is. That's to put to bed. Sunday World said it, so that's the truth behind it.
Well, and what you're saying there as well is interesting, and thanks for clearing that up, because a lot of people have been asking that, and they were wondering, of course.
But they'll ask something else next week, Ninja. That's the problem. They constantly go at me, and this is coming from my own crew. It's more so our own people that were at me. So no matter what I say, they some of them just don't agree, and that's fair enough. They're here to their own point. But at the end of the day, I'm a genuine person, so I don't care what people say about me. I know what I am, and like, I don't need to lie. There's no need to lie. Do you know what I mean? I don't need
the rooms as well too, Gavin. Like, that's something that the government have been pushing over the last few years, and they've been incentivizing that through money as well too. So, look, there's a lot of people out there that are doing it now. They're trying to make it. I've seen it in the media recently as well too, where they had an old lady and she was there and she was like, "I feel safer when there's someone else in the house," and she's there with the cat and everything like that. And I'm looking at that going, you'd feel safe if there was a husband there, love, not some fella that's after coming from Bangladesh. You know what I mean?
Ninja, no, 100%. Now, we want to point something out on this, Ninja. It's very, very important that you're saying that. You know your man Dermot Bannon, right? So for the people listening to the pod, Dermot Ninja know, and all the Irish people know, Dermot Bannon, he runs a show Room to Proof. So he was with this organisation that went up the Bowmount, and they were talking about independent living, this new plan they had, right, for the people of Bowmount. I went to it, and I called them out on it. And what they wanted to do was, for elderly people, they break up your house into like an apartment upstairs. They get you the loans and they do it up, and you get €1,500 a month rent from it. This is what you were telling people. This is what you were trying to spew on. So to be all professionals. So I called up and I said, well, I want to ask you a question. Say we have a student from down the country that's coming to live in Dublin. Would they qualify to get a HAP payment where they can stay in this house and look after this elderly person? You know, the elderly person has someone to help them in the house. Oh, no. This is all about the 39 Amendment. Like, those people will go, they'll have foreigners in your house, and when that old person dies, there'll be all property rights problems, and they're like, no, that'll never happen. The family get it. And this ties into a lot of what the government do. They tell you they're trying to sell narratives, and when you sign up for it, it's the little small print that will destroy it. And you made a great point on it, and I just wanted to share that there.
I appreciate that, and we'll get into the next one as well too, where we were talking to Eamon Ryan, because that's provided as many hilarious clips as well. We'll get talking about that, but just when you're talking about the government and small print, it actually came out during the week. This is totally flown under the radar. Now, we will be doing a video on it, but have you seen the story as well too that talks about the organ donation that everybody now? Because get this, right? You are now. Not you. If you're in the chat and you're listening to this and you think this doesn't apply to you, it absolutely applies to you. They want you to be an organ donator. Full stop. And not only want you to be, but they're actually legislating for that now. And then they're asking for an opt-out list. So the opt-out list is going to obviously be a list of people that they will consider dissenters. And with what we've seen for the last few years when it comes to health situation, you got to be asking questions about that. That is something that I would have repealed immediately, amongst other things as well too. But what's your thoughts on that one there, Gavin? I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Right. See, that's grand. That's everybody has their own opinion, right? So, one thing is, I actually, if it was done right, I'm already an organ donor, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say, it should, my opinion, personally. So this is my own personal opinion, regardless of what people think. I would rather a system where if you don't want to be an organ donor, you have to go into town and sign you out, say I don't want to be an organ donor. That's it. Like, there is a lot of kids that are on lists waiting for organs in Ireland, and you know,
Yeah, I hear you on that.
it's a touchy subject. It's like, you know, it's a very sentimental subject. I've no problem with it, me personally. It should be I don't know. I've no problem with an opt-out system once it was handled right. But as you said, with their government and with the human trafficking stuff that's going on, God knows what they be at. Like that's the problem. Yeah, no, I do fully. It have to be properly regulated, but like that's a touchy one for me because I'm an organ donor myself. You know, like
I know, we hear you on that one, I do, Gavin. And see, this is the thing, and this is what I mean by this, and this is why it's important to do streams like this and the videos that we do and all of that, is to show that there's genuine people like that out there, like yourself, that are doing things for the right reason. And then you've got this, like, and this is the thing I often talk about with me outfit. Derek McManus would be in the chat going, there's a swig there, lads. But this is something I talk about with me outfit very often. And he says, like, even about when we were talking about earlier on about the likes of drones and stuff like that, and, you know, it's a great idea and everything like that. But the thing is that there's the flip side of it, where there's sinister individuals on the other side looking to weasel their way over or weasel things through. And like we were saying as well, with this government essentially pushing this through, that opens itself up for very radical things. I mean, I read it even only tonight there from Tracy O'Mahony there. She's talking about Breed Smith and people before profit trying to push things through, like late term, you know what's for the repeal the 8th, if you catch me drift on that one. And this is stuff that they do in America, where they want you to be able to give birth and then after the fact decide, nah, not for me. This is sick. Unbelievable stuff that's going on. And these things are happening in front of our very eyes. And like I said earlier on, I fully believe it's demonic. It is. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm much more of a skeptic, I would say, on certain things. And that's when it comes to the organ stuff. I hear your point. I understand your point. I'm with you on that. But when it comes to these people just saying, no, you're forcefully having to do this, that's when I have a problem. I'm like, nah, hang on here for a sec. You know what I mean? Because I don't trust you guys leaving me in the hospital at this stage.
Definitely. No. And then an example there, like, say, abortion. Like, I believe abortion, me personally, is murder. Like, that's my personal opinion. Like, like, in the first degree. I don't believe abortion is not an option, in my opinion. It shouldn't, like, not the way they say these positive, there shouldn't be, like, not, it shouldn't be, like, you know, so, like, a pregnancy is not a crisis. I hated that sign. Some people saying pregnancy is not a crisis. A crisis is if there was a bombing off in town, or something went bad down, or the country ran out of water. That's a crisis. Pregnancy is a beautiful thing. Yeah. You know, like, it's a situation. It's not a crisis. I'm pro-life. I'm totally, like, what that Brit Smith is demonic. You know, like what, like, right up the full term. Like it's madness. It, like, oh, it makes you sick. Why would anyone even want to do it? Like, you know, like who comes up with this topic? These people will not be happy until they get euthanasia into the country. That's how sick
that's where they're going as well, Gav. Like, they've done it in the Netherlands. They've done it there. They're actually promoting it there recently. There was an autistic girl, and this is what gets me most. Like, they're very vulnerable people, and the thing is, you know what I mean? They're extremely vulnerable there, and this girl was putting up tweets and blogs and stuff like that about how beautiful it was going to be, and I'm like, this poor girl wasn't looked after because she 100%. Just, you know, she just followed that trend and was so manipulated, in my personal belief. Now, other people might say, no, Ninja, she had her own reasons and that. But I do feel something very, very strongly for people like that have some sort of, you know, again, as we would say as well, to a diagnosis. But it's unbelievable stuff. And like that, it's something that you obviously feel passionate about as well, too.
No, very, definitely. Like, I'm an autistic son, so I know the score. But no, I do. Like, I'm totally against abortion. Like, honestly, I would outlaw it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. Like, I was devastated when it got passed off. And remember, it was sold off as a women's rights referendum. That's the way our government sold that. Together for yes. Like I remember it was yes for women. Yes, try and make it out like it was, they sold it as a women's rights referendum when it wasn't. That's not what it was. Like, in serious situations, we already had stuff in place for that. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm against it. It actually upsets me and my family. That's something I'm really against. 6 kids. I'm obviously on a totally different thing to that. No, honestly, your kids are the best in the world. Like, you know what I mean? There's no way. Like, a nationalist government would be totally against the bars. We'd be helping families, give families everything. You get more help. We want to help girls. You wouldn't be worried about stuff like that. You wouldn't be coming in panicking. Why should a doctor have to sit down and have that horrible conversation with you? Should be telling you, no, everything's going to be grand. Here's the book. Here's the services. These people are going to help you. That's what a government's meant to do. Not say, you better do something. Do you know what I mean? It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
That leads into the population decline.
100%. That's what lower the population. That's exactly what it is. And bring in foreigners to replace it.
And that's a huge problem. And I mean, something that Japan's actually going through right now. They're actually kind of ringing alarm bells there now at the moment. And they're like, hang on here for a second, something's wrong. And in fairness to the Japanese usually are the ones that kick up a major fuss pretty quickly. So, like, they're ringing the alarm bells on this. And everybody else, I think, is at this stage looking and going, oh, no, we can see what's happening here too. But it's the fervour, like you said as well. And the fact that they're celebrating these things, like, you know what I mean? It's just... That's how they do it. They put it with the flowery language, it's women's healthcare. And then these are the same people that can't tell you what a woman is. Owen O'Brien there from Sinn Féin can't tell you what a woman is, but it's supposed to be this mastermind when it comes to housing and fixing it. That's outrageous. You know what I mean? It's absolutely phenomenal to think that that's the case.
The loony bins, Ninja. You just said it. These people think that a man that identifies as a woman should be allowed in women's sports.
That's great.
I was actually, what I was going to do one day? I was going to get 2 kids' football teams, no teenagers. I was going to get a load of boys to dress up as girls, get the referee to dress up as a girl, and play a girls' team. And then put it on camera and show the nation. No, the young is locking the girls down, saying free. Oh, no, it's not a free, it's an even man. It's madness. It's madness. Women have fought all their lives to get equality in sports. Like, why should someone be able to cheat someone out of a medal or cheat someone out of their goals? Like, if there's transgender, it should be transgender toilet. Like, male toilet, female toilet. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm saying the system has gone mad. And vulnerable girls are being put in danger because a fella can identify as a girl and walk in the women's toilet. It's absolutely insane. It's insane. Like the country, oh God, as I said, we were all just getting along with our lives and going to work every day and not paying attention. And it's just that they're getting so far out of hand. And there is change happening. You spoke there about Desi Ellis and Sinn Féin in my area, right? So I don't know if you saw it because it was one of the first videos. Last year, Ninja, right? I was in a Finglas meeting about the crime in the area, right? Against the migration and stuff like that. It's obviously at the Bargain Town and stuff was there, right? And there was no one in it at that time, but we were down about it, right? We're talking about what we were worried about our area. So the councils were all sitting there and they were talking about what's good for the area. And I turned around and says, well, there's no cams in the area. Why is there no cams in Finglas? Like for kids, cams for kids, for mental health for kids, for people that don't understand it, it's cams, right? And they all sat there and I turned around and says, you give nothing to the community, right? And I just said, and they all didn't listen. Now, in the Sinn Féin leaflet I got in the door the other day, that came around post, I had a yoke for cams. Right? Just an example of how they're changing, right? Remember Belclare, that area, Belclare? I went up and done a video. I went up in Belclare, man, and done a video about the cost of the housing, the rents, and what's going on in Belclare. Went everywhere, went for where. It doesn't matter that I put it, was just making it knows. 24 hours, Denise Mitchell of Sinn Féin went up and done the exact same video to make it look like they cared, that it was them. Oh no, Breen then went on to the radio about it. So the media give them the attention to make it look like they cared. They're just saying the things we're saying. When I stood when I was at the Custom House not long ago, I spoke about nurses going abroad. You should get free accommodation. On the Wednesday, Stephen Donnelly came out and started saying, "Oh, we're looking at giving nurses free accommodation." See, they know what the right thing is to do. They just don't want to do it. So, as I said, the Sinn Féin policy, Yokers, I read it. We're against open borders. That's what it says on the leaflet. Yeah, Mary Lou says you can't cap numbers. Their leader says, well, you can't put a cap on numbers. It's a game of Sesame Street. That's all it is, Sesame Street. But the Irish people are awake now, and they're saying, you clowns are trying to make a mockery of this country and wreck it and destroy it and just act like everything's all right, that things will be grand. Well, no, I don't want a woman going, like, there's gangs of foreign men hanging around all over the city. It was on news talk about one shop, 820 incidents, not just with foreign Irish people, but on O'Connell Street. O'Connell Street is in big, our famous street is in dishevelled, dangerous, destroy it. Should be a gold mine. Should be it should be an honour to walk down that street with big Irish flags everywhere. Should be Irish, the only flag up in the city. You know what's wrong with the Irish flag? That tricolour is gorgeous. I love it more than anything. And I'm being honest, I don't care about the other flags. I only cared about the Irish flag. It should be everywhere. Should be on every school. Every school should have an Irish flag. Top of the school. Every creche. Every government building. And that's the only flag. Simple as that. And it should be like an honour to walk down. And loads of shops. People won't go into the shops anymore. Night time, it's full of foreign men hanging around on corners. Loads of them. I put the videos up, Ninja. All people have to do is go. And not just me, loads of people put videos up. Right across the city centre. It's no longer safe. It's not safe for the Irish homeless that are in town. You know, we vulnerable girls, as we said, that are homeless in tents at night. And then you have gangs of foreign men that have no documents walking around the city. Like, that's insane. Not enough guards. Guards are leaving in the droves. The moral is on the floor. 98% of them are against Drew Harris in our country. Ireland is being destroyed. Literally, like, it's mad. We're talking about just a couple of percent of our topics. But look how bad it is. It's in dire straits. And the government just sit there and Helen's like, no, everything is okay. No, everything's okay in your big rich fantasy land. In La La Land, where you're robbing us and getting 300-400 grand a year in salary, living in a castle, not living in the real world around your own friend. It doesn't affect you in working class areas. It doesn't affect you in the farming community that Eamon Ryan's trying to destroy. But real farmers who deserve to get paid a decent wage for their dairy products. Board beef, it's mad. I'm a supporter of board beef. Irish quality. We've the best beef in the world. We've the best. There's nothing wrong with eating Irish product. Our product is the best. I think we make the best baby food as well. China are one of our biggest imports. They buy a lot of our baby food, apparently, the powder. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've a good country here. And our city centre should be flushed with shops, not second-hand phone shops. You can't walk down Parnell Street or Moore Street. It's like being in another country. Second-hand phone shops and coffee shops everywhere. Like, we used to have Hector Grace. We had Guiney. Like, they're all dishevelled now. We used to go into town, your man, bring you in here, bring you out, and people could afford it. Now people can't afford to go into town. Neil Richmond, another clown if I ever see him, telling people, spend in Dublin. €10.45 for the pint. €10.45. Like, what social welfare is 200 quid a week for a person on social welfare? What do you get 20 points a week? Like, you know, like the app I get in a shop. Like, this is insane. It's insane. It's a bunch of greedy corporate fuckers that have been, sorry for my language, that have been getting away with it for a long time. I apologise for the language, folks.
I'll never be apologising for that. That's all good.
No, but I'm upset because that's the reality of it. Irish people can't even afford to bring their kids into town for dinner. They can't afford to go out for the day. Like, you know, I have to give a big shout out to the cinemas lately. The cinemas have been having that for, I'll be moving for a while because they used to be robbers, but they've been cutting you out €5 days and all. And I want to give a shout out to Odeons and all because they have been doing it. And that helps families bring their kids to the cinema. Yeah. Like, people should be able to afford this. It shouldn't be a luxury, you know. It shouldn't, like, it should be a basic for, you know, people had to bring their kids in for dinner. But you go in for dinner in town now, it's 140 quid for a basic meal. It's aimed at tourists. And our tourists are not coming down.
Even the shit food is expensive now. Like, you go to a fast food place, it's expensive. You're talking about yourself and the missus and the kids and all that. You know yourself, you go there and it's a good few quid. You're talking 100 quid there before you've even walked into the place, and you're talking about shit food like Burger King or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is outrageous. And like you're saying as well too, there as a taxi man, like, you're feeling the pinch as well too, because obviously with the likes of that going around like that, the petrol rising as well too for you guys, and all the other costs that is pushed onto you guys, amongst all the other ridiculous stuff there, like, you're seeing it as well too firsthand as a taxi man what is going on. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you now, Ninja, I have to pay for SGS, suitability, right? Which I support because I think taxi should be regulated to the hilt. I'm all like keep Uber out. I'm all for regulated taxi drivers. The people should know who they're getting in the car with. 100% safe. Uber's not. I don't care. I'll call you out straight in your face, Uber. Should be regulated. But I pay me taxes, my yearly taxes, income tax, your car tax. Now you write off a lot of it. You know, like it does get deducted through your tax. Well, you pay for everything you pay in the year, and then foreigners are coming in getting everything for free. But at the end of the week, when you have your basic weekly wage, you can only do so much. Well, lucky to get a holiday a year if I get away every couple of years with my kids. You know, that's the reality of it. Like, it's a luxury. When we were kids, you were able to go to Mosney. We were brought to Mosney all the time. And people might laugh, but Mosney was the best. Of all the places I went to when I was a kid, but he took that away from us. Mosney was the best. You used to go down to Mosney, it was brilliant, had a time of your life. And you didn't even think of Spain. You know, Irish people can't afford to go down to our centre parks. They're thieves. It's really expensive. It's cheaper. Like, it's petty whackery. It's cheaper to fly a family to Spain for a week than it is to go to centre parks in London. Like, that makes no sense. That just, I'm looking at, you think about it, it makes no sense. Like, the city centre, I couldn't bring my family out at dinner. You take the card off in it, you have £5 Friday. They charge all beers and drinks at a £5, right? And that includes the mixer. So someone say got a vodka and coke, it's a £5. €10.45 for a pint in the city centre. Like, it's, we used to go for dinner, I think, in some of the pubs now, they still do like a family deal, 2 adults and 2 kids, I was 6, so it's different to me. But it used to be like €25 and you get like 4 drinks, like, no, dilutes. That might not, people that are working class and poor are listening to me and they know I'm right. That makes a difference to people like family people. This government could not give a toss about them. Eamon Ryan does not. So if he keeps destroying the farm and the agriculture, that's just going to keep driving up the price. Like, these Greens are head cases. Cull 200,000 cattle, right, in the country, but fly it over from a different country with all the transport. That's meant to reduce emissions. These people are mad. They're insane. The Green Party is insane. But what it's doing is it's destroying livelihoods and it's making it more expensive for average Irish people to get by. So in the end, Paddy Irish taxpayer is going to be crippled where at the end of the week, we don't have anything anyway, but you'll be left with completely nothing. You'll be like, and it's their agenda, be nothing, have nothing and be happy. Well, we're not happy. And you're leaving us broke. And you're making really, really poor people in worse conditions that have no voice. You know, as I said, I'll always stick up for single mothers and stuff like that, and carers and all that, and pensioners, because they don't really have a voice. You know, you want to shut the post office, Ninja Night. Post office. The post office, right? An elderly person goes to the post office to get their money. Next door, you usually have the butchers, the vegetable shops, in the this is in the normal, and the local shop, the local news agent, and a little coffee shop, and you might have a coffee and toilet names. They might only get out that one time a week to get their money and have that little chat and go and get their little groceries. They want to take that away. No. Like, it's gone too far. Like, there a few weeks ago, I was in AIB. Now, you understand, I do online banking and all, but I actually do, like, you go into the bank and they're telling all people, go to the machine. And I'm like arguing with your man. She doesn't understand the machine. Like, I'd rather be charged a little bit more than me banking charges for the tellers that we used to have. That's job creation. They're going to replace all our online machines. And is it making it better? No, it's not, because the price of houses are going up. The price of everything's going up. So it didn't cut costs. You're charging me bank charges for a bank that I'm ringing and the person answering doesn't even understand me.
Yeah, that's true. And obviously as well too, as you go into banks, you can't withdraw money and you can't lodge money either. You know, and I've heard widespread reports as well too from people when they withdraw their money, particularly if they get a pay packet or anything like that, and they decide, right, I'm going to withdraw my entire money out then so I have cash. Like, they're getting phone calls from the bank, like, what are you doing with that money? They're going, what are you talking about? That's my money. What are you talking about? And that's where, like, the sinister nature, like I said earlier on, with technology, you know, technology is great and everything like that, but as I said with the outlet as well, the sinister nature of it does rear its head. And it's like you were saying there, you've got an elderly woman that's going in. They don't care about the elderly. I think that's a very clear point, and they don't care about anybody else other than what they've been told from their masters above to be bringing into place. It's like, you know, it's like what we're seeing as well too. This wanton support for nations like Ukraine and Palestine and all that. Good idea, right? But what ends up happening is then you start importing the problems from those places into this country, and that's only going to be the beginning of it. And people aren't wise to that, and it's something that Donald Trump said years ago when he was running for election, which he said, these forever wars in the likes of the Middle East, he says, those people are scarpering out and are being thrown into Europe and are causing major issues. And he was right, because that's what we're seeing here now. You're getting a lot of people waving the Palestine flags. Who do you think's going to arrive on our doorstep next? And then you think that these things are just going to go away. They're going to be here to stay. You've got a couple of Egypts that are on Twitter there. There was one woman in particular, and she's talking about, hey, I have a Palestinian family here that can someone house. And most of the responses, to be fair, and it's a nice way to see the way Twitter's going, people were saying, myself included, you house them. What are you asking other people to do it for? But going back on the banks there, it is a sinister thing that I'm saying, I think personally, when you're seeing it become more technologically advanced, because for that very reason you're doing away with the job of the person that's across. You know yourself, Gavin, you used to walk in, how are you, Jane? How's things? Grand? Yeah, how's the kids? What's the story? Community. And there's an attachment to that there. And that's what they don't want. They don't want the community. Why do you think that all during the last couple of years over the sniffles, why do you think they shut down all of the community-based things? Because they didn't want people gathering together, doing what you were talking about, which is, I'm going into Pennies and I'm seeing Joan there. What's Joan doing? How are we getting on? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. People getting together is a problem for them.
Ninja, you just said it. Community. Like, just you technology people is good, right? And it has its pluses. First of all, I don't believe kids. My kids have phones. I'm guilty of myself. I don't think kids should have phones till they're 16 at this rate. The way it's gone, right? The way it's gone, right? With technology, what's it destroyed? I'll tell you what it's destroyed. It used to be now people might laugh at this, and it's okay how people feel about it, but it used to be events for me and my kids. I used to bring them down to Extravision. So for the people listening and abroad or whatnot, Extravision was a video store like Chartbusters in America, and you'd go down on a Friday or a Saturday, and you'd pick the film. You'd get one of the cheap ones for the euro that you have, like the cartoons for the kids, and you'd pick out one of the new releases if you're lucky to get one. You know, you'd be looking what's on and what's on, right, and then you'd go over and you get popcorn and sweets. And you'd go home and you'd watch a DVD, like a videotape, and then a DVD. And that was a great night. And that was like a big, you know, we're going to watch a film tonight. So then we took Netflix, and he'd say Netflix is great, but Netflix eradicated Extravision, put these people out of jobs. Eventually, so there's only some staff at Netflix, but thousands of people lost their jobs in the video industry. So we say, oh, it's handy. You know, we can watch whatever we want. But is it better? No, it's not better. Better was getting up with your kids or going out with your partner or whatnot and going down, chatting to the person in the store, you're helping, it's real jobs, it's community, you're speaking, you're communicating. But now people are latched on. The government just wants you on your computer, on your phone, not chatting, not worrying about your community and your neighbours and stuff like that. And that's a big thing. And that's one thing we miss a lot. The video store, stuff like that, the local shops, and I'm sure you do know Extravision, and you know it's mad to think of, but it's gone. HMV, they're trying to get, like, I know they've other little stores, but you remember you used to go in and we sound like nothing, but it's just they're eradicating this, and it's eradicating jobs. This is the thing. Technology is not creating jobs. It's creating jobs for foreigners who are working in the tech sector, but it's putting Irish people who worked in these manual labour jobs or manufacturing jobs and retail jobs for years out of work. And it's made it worse for us, because then less shops means there's less reason for us to go into the city centre, or there's less reason to go out. So you're staying in more, you know? Like, you're going to the town, what's there? Second-hand pawn shop, few coffee shop. Like, this whole pedestrianisation of the city centre. For what? Like, we don't have proper retail stores. Our retail stores are in bits and are neglected, and the government don't care about them. We need, like, we should have a metro underground going to the airport. Like or whatever, you know.
15-minute city, Gavin, you know yourself. Like, they want to eradicate the likes of taxis, and you know, they want you to be 15 minutes being able to walk around your area, not to go outside your zone. And that's why I believe the whole 5K thing was a tester. It was a test run, you know. And like you're saying about the Extravision,
do you have the sign in town? Did you see that there at the old Ulster Bank? Yeah, new 15-minute city. It actually says it on it. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if they took it down, but there was a big huge poster on that there. And that's exactly what you're right. They wanted to isolate people in the community, saying it's for better, and it'll reduce emissions and stuff, and it's great. No, it's not. It's taking away your freedom. It's like the big boss watching over you. You know, it's taking
100%.
away our freedom. It doesn't make it
And
better.
it's like you're saying as well too about the extravision as well too. Like that's a lot got to do with the entertainment industry going so badly. And I mean, like what a lot of people don't know is that they're directly funded through this DEI nonsense. They're through massive companies and corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard, and they have infinite levels of money. Like I talk to people regularly, and they're like, Disney have to stop this woke nonsense. They're losing money. No, they're going to continue to push the message. It's not going to ever stop. They'll never stop with Star Wars. They'll never stop with Marvel. They're just going to keep doing it. They're going to do it with DC next. That's the next thing they're going to do, and that's coming from an entertainment sphere. And this stuff is all intertwined and linked because, like Gavin is saying there, when you were talking about mobile phones and social media, these are the type of things that have been pushed upon people. The Kardashians are looked as role models for girls. Love Island are looked at as role models for girls. That's insane. That's insane. That you're looking at women that are going onto the TV and they're up to no good, and they've been looked at as the role models. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, Gav, but that's just my personal feeling on those things. You know what I mean?
Well, I fully agree with you. Like when we were kids, it was Saved by the Bell, Keenan and Kel, Sister, Hey Arnold, Rugrats. Like, you know, now it's, as you said, Love Island. And right, I have a big issue with this. I agree with you. What this does, right, is it shows teenagers and young kids a different picture of reality. So they see these good-looking people, false tan, body ripped, right? You're making the kids that are watching insecure. This is why filters on phones are bad. You know, people think they're fat and they're ugly, and they're watching this nonsense on telly. And this is the sort of crap that causes kids to hurt themselves. You know, we're not good enough. Online bullying. Like, it all ties into that. Like, Love Island is not like a program that is fit for children by any stretch of the imagination. You know, Beyonce and the stuff they're doing on stage. It's wrong, you know. Sam Smith, it's wrong, you know. A singer is a singer. They don't need to. Look, I know it's entertainment, like there is entertainment, but you're dead right. You've stretched it into it like trying to sexualize the kids, and like, you know, like it's wrong what they're doing. It should be just, you know, a singer is a singer, entertainment is entertainment. Disney, you made a great point. You know, what was wrong with Batman when he was Michael Keaton? You know, what was? No, I'm being honest, right? Like, you know, when you show it, what was wrong with Christopher Reeve when he was Superman? Because they're the best Supermans, you know? And what they're doing is...
It's Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck for me.
Christopher, Kryptonite, you know what I mean? The good albums. But no, in general, no, the point I'm making is that they were great films, like Batman Forever. Like, you know, I love them films. I wouldn't bring my kids actually still like them. My daughters and sons actually watch the original ones, right? I won't let them watch this new crap. This new, like, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, I know some people, awful. Like awful. You know, they remake everything. They're destroying films. They remake Willy Wonka. Like, you know, when are they going to stop it? They're going to remake Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. They were even complaining about a part in that there I seen in the paper not long ago. Like, it's madness. You don't mess with classic films. You don't mess with classic. It's like Fright Night. There's a classic film. Then they tried to get Colin Farrell to do it. It's like, sweet mother, like that. You know what I mean?
It's like having new Roadhouse coming out to do, and your buddy Conor McGregor's in it as well too. And a couple of the people in the chat are wondering as well too. They're like, "What was the story there? What was the story on going out to the Black Forge? Isn't that the name of the pub?"
Right, yeah. So I did. Right, so for the people that did see, I first went out and called Conor out. What happened was I was looking at tweets that he was putting up, and then he was deleting them. And I was reading one of them in particular, one in a couple of years, and thanks for speaking out, Conor, and then that was deleted. And I kind of just annoyed me. I was like, is he actually going to, like, does he care what's going on, right? So I went out and I kind of called him out. And then I noticed then he wasn't deleting. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
He wasn't deleting them then real quick. Now, I'm not saying it was because of me, it was just, but it was recently after that. So I said, if he was being that genuine, I'm going to go over and spend money in his bar. And I went over with Val and kids. I had dinner, and I went in, and they put, like, he knew I was coming, I think, because he put me up at his table that he sits at. And we had a great night. So, and it's good to see that he's a big voice. Yes. So regardless of whether people agree with him or not, it's very important that the big influencers in the country, because they can get the message out better, and people will listen to them. You know, like, you know. So even though, like, I don't agree with him on everything, but I think what he's doing now is good. You know, like, it's important to help your country. You know, stop worrying about other countries. Worry about Ireland. And anything you can do that can help to get a message out that helps their people is very important. And especially people that are people that are working class. So, you know, I'm annoyed because Colin Farrell would have been classy. I know he's from Castle, but, you know, people look up to him. People like him speaking out makes a difference to people because a lot of people say, oh, he's great. So it's when someone like that says something out, does help. But they're so afraid of their job. You know, they're like, oh, if I say that and I won't get that next film, I won't get that because it's a club. It's right in through the film industry, through Hollywood. It's all the same thing. So they have to be, I do understand you have to be careful, but when it comes to your country, it should be, no, my country comes first, my people come first, and we have to call it out when there's something wrong going on. Like, you know, our citizens have to come first. And as an Irish person, that's how I feel. So that's why I speak out. And it is good to see him speaking out. I know not everybody agrees with me on him and me going over there and whatnot, because some people like him, some people don't. I'm no big fan of his, but I think what he's doing is great, and I will give him praise when he does stuff like that. But like I said, if he was to turn on us tomorrow, I'd call him out again. That's what I do that with anyone. It's just, but not everybody's always going to be happy, Ninja, you know. That's
I know,
the reality.
absolutely. I mean, it's like myself down the channel. Like, I mean, sometimes I put up a video and people won't be delighted about it. And like, I mean, even when I put the one out about Michael O'Regan during the week, I'm sure there was a lot of people that looked at that and were like, oof, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, hang on, this guy was one of these people that wanted to take your rights and civil liberties and freedoms away for a number of years here. And I don't feel like stealing 2 years off me is something I'm ever going to forget personally. But like you're saying there with Conor McGregor, Conor McGregor. Which, yeah, oh yeah, you know, we'll get to that now in a second. Yeah. So what was he saying to you?
About that, the land of the saints and scholars, because it was in the tracksuit speaking outside as well, famous Irish Times.
They have a very specific dislike towards you, and I've noticed it from a number of journals as well too. They specifically dislike you and the other lads that are there as well too, Philip, Derek, and Ferg as well, amongst others that they be there. They have a specific dislike for an ordinary working class guy. And when I say working class, that's a terrible thing to say. And I think we should change the topic around that, because, you know, we have a parasite class that are running this country, and we're the ones that are running the show. Like guys like you there that are going out and doing your bit, you're doing the taxi and stuff like that. You're doing an important job as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, I think a guy like Michael O'Regan there sitting there tweeting about you saying saints and scholars, like, this is where these people show their true colours. They look down upon you. It's like Eamon Ryan as well too. I'll say it to you now about Eamon Ryan, but like, he's another one that when you see him speaking to you and he hears the accent immediately, he looks and he goes, oh, bollocks, because this fella's not going to take an ambi-pambi answer here. But just before we jump into Eamon Ryan, the Conor McGregor thing, he has 10 million followers on Twitter, and I think whatever way you want to shave it, that's an important thing if that guy is on side. I think the fact that he's on side is because of the UFC, the job he works at, that Dana White is happy to push things like that out. Meanwhile, you're seeing Barry Keoghan dressing up like a woman getting into a bat full of red dye. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a guy now there that's definitely not going to be showing up to any of these marches. You know what I mean?
100%. Like, he's just going to go with the narrative. He got an Oscar. That's the sad world we live in.
For sure. Now, going back to what I was saying there about Eamon Ryan. So you've met Eamon Ryan on a couple of occasions, both at Dublin Airport, and recently you put out a video.
That was Amsterdam Airport.
It was Amsterdam Airport, right?
Everyone's getting mixed up with that. That was in Amsterdam, yeah.
Okay, so that was in Amsterdam. So tell me what went on there, and then, like, you were there last night, and Hazel Chew, who looks like Dennis Nedry from Jurassic Park, she absolutely, you could smell the fact that she was really shitting that cat. She was like, oh, does she realize you were real quick then?
So she was devastated. So I started with the first one. So what happened was I went to Amsterdam with the lads. I was on my way home. So in Amsterdam Airport, it's just like there was like a laneway where we were waiting, like no a tunnel. But people get off and come up that tunnel, and they get off a plane and walk up the same way you're waiting to go out onto the runway and get on the plane, right? So I'm sitting there in Ninja on my phone. I was actually on Twitter. Sitting there on my phone. And some fella, an Irish fella, goes to me, here. I go, what? Because there was people that are getting off and what? And he goes, you your man, aren't you? I says, what? You go after all them politicians, right? And I go, yeah. He goes, now listen, I don't know who that, he said a certain word, is up there. He goes, but I know you want to call him out. And I go, what? He goes, I don't know who he is, but I know you're after him. So I just took my phone and walked up. And before I pressed record, Eamon looks to the left, and he just, the face drained on him. Like, he knew where I was there and then. I don't care what he says, and then this smirk. And if you look at that video, see, I think he's a disabled child or something, just like I do. When I said I was a disabled wheelchair taxi driver, his expression in his face changed, because you shown them up, but he's still looking at you like he doesn't care. You know, he's with an agenda, a world agenda, laughing on a big, huge pace gallery, destroying the city, wasting money on unnecessary cycle lanes and infrastructure when the roads are in bits and hospital lists are through the roof. And he's destroying it in what he believes is what's good for the climate action plan. These people, he's a snob. So hey, they're uptight college people. Now, I'm not picking on college people because 90% of college people are not like that. So and I'm also going to say that a lot of people that live in posh areas are lovely. Like some of the best tips I get from people as a taxi man, you get tips are from posh areas. That's a myth like that. They're against us and all that. But there is this particular group, as you said, elites, that have this pompous look that try to spread division. So Hazel, in my opinion, Hazel Chu is a racist. She's a racist towards Irish people. That's how I feel. I've never interacted with her. I choose to ignore her because if you try to talk to her, that's what you get painted as. But she says some hateful things. So when she saw me in Dublin, see what happened was, the reason why you said how did it go, there was an event in Finglas, right, about the Greenways, about doing cycle lanes. Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Don't just let you talk. I don't like to interrupt people. That's me thing. Like I seen an interview not too long ago. I spoke about it with Bill Burr, and he's talking to Adam Driver, who was in Star Wars. And Bill Burr talked for most of the show, and I was like, when I'm doing an interview, I need to be listening to people. That's why I have people on. So go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks, Pat. So when I was down there, right, I knew that out in Gettr view, they were calling it from the Gettr to the sea. That was that little skin. He was out in the dropping well having a green party night to talk about the cycle lanes out there. So he obviously was thinking, we have this in Finglas and that one there. They'll all go to the Finglas. So I went to the Finglas one for the while. And I wasn't too opposed to that one. Like, so it was look well, the air is going to cause a bit of disruption though as well. But right. I went down to the dropping well. And when I got there was guards there, right? So I walked up and the guards were like, hey, Gavin, this is exactly what he said. Have you any head balls with her? I said, I'm on my own. And you're like, go on in. And that's what he said, right? And I had me phone. I go, I have a ticket. It doesn't matter. Go on in. Like, I already had the ticket. So I went in, right? So I walked in and I looked down the front. And because these were these events. So this event, right, is the place that are using the tickets. You have to, they're all ticket. Imagine ticketed event to a public meeting. This is the new thing that they want. And that's specifically, so when people like me and Ferg and all that, apply for this, they know who we are, so they can reject us at the door. That's what Paul Murphy got his crew to do out in Tal at that time.
Right.
So I go in and I sit at the very front seat, right? And Hazel comes out with a few, and she see me. And well, when I say her face dropped, I'm telling you now, right? And I'm just sitting there killed. So this is what happened. This is the truth. So we're all yapping away, right? So two elderly people sit beside me, right? And Eamon walks out, and Eamon looks at me, and he's staring at me, and he goes white, and he picks up a glass of water, and he's like, oh, he starts drinking his water, and one of the elderly people said, and listen to what was shocking, because this was full of people that say upper class. Like, those are people that are upper class. They were all dressed really well, look really well. And she says to me, I don't think he's happy to see you, Gavin. And I'm like, this woman was about 80, so I was like, you know who I am. I was surprised she knew who I was, you know. So yeah. She was sitting beside me, so I was loving. And so anyway, he was talking to a guard then or something, and then I'm going nowhere, so I didn't have to go anyway. I won't say what happened because, in fairness, the guards are great; they're doing a great job. But look, you know that it's. Well, look, it could be better, but in general, they're not giving me any issue at the moment. Ever since before when he raided me home and stuff like that. But in general, he sits there, he does the interview, right? And now I'm sitting right in front of him. So it wasn't a stage ninja. It's like he was 2 feet away from me doing this presentation. It was live streamed, you know, and he's talking about, and the whole time he's sweating, and he just keeps looking at me. Like he was just kept staring, you know, he's looking at the people, they look, and he's like, oh, he knew it was coming, right? So they sit down and they all do that talk. Hazel, like, she was looking down at me like it was nothing, you know, she was speaking, it's like talking rubbish, nonsense. So they sit down and they start saying we'll have to do questions. So the girl is doing the questions. I could clearly see they didn't want to let me ask a question. So I'll tell you what happened. They were asking people on the right and a few people were answering or asking questions. Then I got to the middle and some bloke at the back just interrupted and started giving out about something. So I turned around and said, look, that's wrong, so you can't do that. You have to put your hand up like the rest of us. So everyone kind of clapped when I said that. So she gave me the microphone next. So, yeah, I put her in that position, you know what I mean? And then I
Yeah.
said, right now, I'm going to get him now. So I called him out. I just said, look at Eamon, you were talking about the road already made it slower in town, which I don't disagree with. Like, it's 30 up the keys, and it should be, because a lot of pedestrians do be, people in town shopping. So I'm not opposed to that. But I said, you want to block it for people going, like, all together. So how's a mother in 3-hour ambulance delays in our country? There's 3 hours ambulance delays for people listening. So how's a mother with a child meant to get it across the city to the new children's hospital in an emergency? I mean, now in emergencies, Ninja, they're actually telling the people to stay on the phone in the car. I mean, how dangerous is that?
Just before you jump into that, will you give people a little bit of background on that? Because there might be people that aren't aware of what they're looking to do with town. Will you just let people know?
Right. So what you want to do, folks, is you don't want pedestrian, like average cars going to town. Taxis are allowed and buses. So they're trying to pedestrianise it. But what taxi drivers need to wake up to this, because this is done in Europe, and eventually they take you out as well. And they'll make Northsiders work and Northsiders, Southsiders. It's all about taking cars out of the city. That's what the green agenda is. You can say it's not, but that's what it is. So they're starting off from August, and that's why I'm going over to Dublin Castle on Monday. That's when all the councils are meeting to sign off on this. So if anyone can turn up, it's on the 4th. I know we have our yoga on Sunday, which is very important. But, if you have families and you drive to work and all, try to get there at 6 o'clock on Monday night and call these councillors out, because they're the ones, the buck stops with them. He's trying to stop you from driving across the city. So how that'll affect you was the new children's hospital is being built up near James Street there. Right? So if you're in Sheriff Street or if you're in Coolock and you need to get to the new children's hospital, you have to drive through the city. So, like, how do you do that? Like, there's a 3-hour ambulance delay. It'll affect you. You won't be able to cross through it. And when I asked him this question, his answer was, no, they will. They will. I go, but they can't go through. They can go cross. Well, what do you mean? They can't cross over the bridge, Amy. He's acting the maggot. Like, he's blocking you from driving through the city centre. And that's the game here. Because all he cares about is his little green agenda and cycle lanes and happy land.
Really, it doesn't affect them, Gavin. And it doesn't affect them. Like, it's like you're seeing RTE there. I thought the weekend was off to a good start when they were talking about Michael D. Higgins. If anyone's caught that story, I was like, maybe we might get off to a banger here on the weekend, guys. Might be a good one. And then they were talking about, he's been taken care of very well and he's in good spirits. And I'm looking at it going like, yeah, that's grand for you people, because you people will be carted in there and you won't be on a trolley, because that's an awful lot of comments were saying the very same. They're like, you won't be on a trolley there, you won't be shoved into a room with multiple people or anything like that, or left, and people having to go away and come back. Some of the stuff that I read in the last week with regards to nurses that are starting to finally come out and say what was going on during the last couple of years is very eye-opening, But when they're talking about guys like that, Eamon Ryan's never foreseen a position that he's going to ever be in where he can't drive across. He's thinking about you and me not being able to. And when I say you and me, I'm talking about the chat as well too here. You won't be able to cross over there. You have to understand that these people that are in government do not care about your life. They do not care. They shut it down for 2 years. They took it off you. They did. They don't care about unborn children. This is something we're actually talking about at length here. And some people don't understand that. Some people are like, no, they totally do care. And this is for the good of things. Like, you have to realize that we are being led by idiots, and not only idiots, but sinister ones too. And like you were saying there, not being able to drive through town is a very serious thing. And if you don't think that someone's going to be some sort of either a police force or some sort of person that's going to try and stop you from doing that, you're sadly mistaken. And we were talking about Children's Hospital there, Gavin. We have spent an awful lot of money on trying to build the Children's Hospital here, and it's not gotten done. Yet they're able to sport 20 million away there to a foreign nation there. And you're going, well, where's that going? Why is the 20 million and why is the Children's Hospital raising to the cost that it's been raised to? It's fiscal irresponsibility. And you were talking about Eamon Ryan there. I mean, the Green Party, I've yet to meet a person that's ever voted for them. I've never met a person.
I don't know anyone.
How they're leading these situations. And here's the thing as well too, and I know that what I'm saying here as well too, we'd be talking about the Green Party and like that, but don't forget as well too, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil are also there too. And I mean, I thought as well, I don't know, maybe I get your thoughts on it, but I thought the gripped media question where Ben Scallon was left hanging by Varadkar, and I thought that now from a body language point of view, I thought it was fascinating, because Varadkar is clearly the guy leading the show there. He left Micheál Martin's eyes, he scurried his eyes across there, noticed that Varadkar was gone, and he followed, so he's obviously number 2. And Eamon Ryan was left on the stage like the absolute wally that he is. and he was looking around going, no, I'm not going to take questions either. So that is exactly how things are working here in Ireland. You're getting, and like you're saying as well too, I think the Green Party should get an awful lot of flack amongst all of the other parties that are there, but they're all on the same team. And like you said earlier on, bringing it back there, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, whoever it might be, Social Democrats and all that, clowns, they're all on the same team, and it's a big problem. It's a huge problem here in this country.
100%, they're the exact same. So they all agree with each other. And you just said it, you hit loads of topics there. Like I said, the children's hospital. It's also elderly people trying to go into the city centre, people to go into shopping, people going to work. It's going to affect every driver. People trying to bring some kids go to school in the city centre. You know, that's why it's all an agenda. It's like outside every school you're seeing these pencils and it's painted lovely and these little that's all part of stopping you from being able to park and drop your kids off to school.
Yeah, the bollards, yeah,
that's what it's for. And that's why the big cycle lanes along them. And they say, oh, we need people to walk. But some people have disabled children. Some people can't walk. Some people are nervous and have, you know, they feel uncomfortable getting out of their car. You know, everybody's situation is different, and it's a restriction of freedom as well. And you're dead right when you say that. The children's hospital, they built it in the wrong place. They should have built it out in Blanchardstown for people coming up from the country. But once again, that's bureaucracy. It was to sue consultants from the likes of Blackrock Clinic and Vincent, so they don't have to travel out that way. It's nearer to them. A lot of that's to do with that. Parking, there'll be no parking at the children. Well, there will be something, but how are people meant to get to it? Once again, you won't be able to drive across to the new children's hospital. The system is to make restriction. So it's making it difficult for their citizens to access the services that are already stretched. We're already stretched to the hilt with their services, making it harder for you to access them. We don't want that. We want you to be able to get to the hospital safely, quickly, and get the service you need. And the problem is, a lot of it's to do with the green agenda. Eamon is that Green Party is completely insane. They've destroyed the fisheries. They're destroying the agriculture. Like, the farmers should be more uproar than they are. I'm actually just, they're standing out, but not enough. You know, these are ruining. I'm saying this to all farmers across this country. These Green Party will destroy your livelihoods. They did it with they agreed China, I think it is, have the coal power plants, but yet they're trying to take away your agriculture sector. They want to take away the coal, the turf. You know, they're destroying livelihoods across this country to suit their agenda, to what they say is good for the environment. Well, I'll tell you here now, Ireland is a pimple on an elephant's arse. We don't make any difference, you know, regardless of what way they try to do it. We don't make any difference really when it comes to climate. Like, the bigger countries, the big polluters, America, China, they're huge, Russia. Like, they're not doing any of the things we're doing. We're the laughing stock of the world at the moment. And you're told you're doing the great thing, you're doing the right thing. Well, some are all up. We have recycle bins, and now they want you to bring your empty your plastic bottles back to to charge them all. That sums it up. Like, it sums up, and people, as you said, just seem to go along with it, just seem to think, well, it's good for us. No, it's not. It's making your life harder. What the government are doing is making your life more difficult, making you not leave your home as much more, right? So you're not a burden. They want you to literally go to work, go home, and have no life, have no money at the end of the week, barely pay for your bills because, people can't manage anymore. That's what's happening in Ireland. So mass migration has really contributed to that. So I believe in mass deportations, and I think you should too. I'm saying that to the audience.
Absolutely. I think mass deportation is a huge thing. And I mean, I think when they're talking about the climate, we're going to return to the bottles, they're going, okay, right. So the people that can't fill the potholes in the roads, because you know, as a taxi man, you've driven around, you know, the gig, you know how bad the roads are here in Dublin. And it's outrageous. And the guys that can't fix the potholes in the road are going to be able to fix the weather. Now, that leads me on to the next thing as well, too. I don't know whether anybody else thinks about things like I do, but like when you look in the sky and you see them drawing lines in the sky with planes, and you're like, this is stuff that's going on in America that they banned in various states, and then you get snow today on the 4th of March. I'm looking at it going, everyone that used to think I was a lunatic beforehand is keenly aware of what's going on. They're going, no, actually, you're calling it as it is. And not only that, then a lot of what you're saying, it's a spoiler alert. They're about 6 months ahead of the news. So they're eventually going to tell you that they've been affecting the weather here now. Come the summer as well, too, when we have a swelter in summer and they try and has been like red and orange coloured Ireland and tell you that it's the warmest place in the world, they'd say that's because you didn't put the return cans into the correct place and you've been putting it in the green bins. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get ridiculous stuff, and this is what we're led by. We're led by a nation. We're not by a nation. Us as a nation, we're led by fools and clowns, like you said as well too. People that are happy to take orders from a higher master, and I think that's the big problem with why they can't speak to you, or they can't speak to Philip, or they can't speak to Derek, or the Irish Inquirer, the Irish Gettr, or anybody, Mike Connell as well too. Anyone that's out there that confronts and speak to these people, they can't speak back to them because they know how ridiculous the things that they're doing are. It's unbelievable stuff. It really is. It gets to it. It's sometimes you have to laugh at it because you're like, this is absolutely a bizarre world. Yeah, but what I like to do is when I'm out in places and I'm just that sort of, well, I'm a little bit of a story, you might say. And when you're stopping at a machine like that and I'm causing a queue there with 10 people behind me, I'm turning around going, did anybody vote for this? Did anybody think that the Green Party bringing this policy in was a good idea? And that's how I affect things personally myself, amongst my own, people as well too. People that are close to me, I'd say how ridiculous things are. But that's how I like to affect things as well too. Don't be afraid to say things to people when you're out and go, look at this is ridiculous. We're standing here for 20 minutes trying to get 25 cents back on a fucking can. Like, this is ridiculous. I could have put it in a green bin that's outside my door. Like you're saying there, I think it's a fair point. Like, do you know what I mean?
100%. It's like these electric cars. Ashford Motors, I think it is now, won't even take electric cars back. They're giving them problems. Like, right, they were saying there's grants for taxis if you want to be an electric taxi driver, and they say you get 20 grand off a car or whatever, right? They're pulled up at the side of the road charging them. Like, you're waiting there for ages for your car to charge. Like, it's insane. And when it breaks down, that's it. Like, it's an electric car. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're going to get it going back again straight away. Like, like, the system is mad. It's mad. I don't know how to get away with it.
On post, they're using it as well too now, the electric vehicles. It might be a reason why they're very slow to deliver packages and letters and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They've seemed to slow down. Did you see the thing that they had today? Guys, there's snow today, so deliveries might be off. I'd say the lads that went down to On Post were like, we were fucking delighted when they seen the snow day. They were like, we won't be down the tap today, boys. So anyway, the snow situation was funny.
It's mad. Look, it is. It's the whole system is mad. As you said with the bottles. Like, that's what people need to be doing. I love what you said you did there. Like, 20 people who are saying, but you not realise what you're doing, folks. You're standing here in a queue to get your money back for a bottle that you should be putting in your green bin at home. Like, these are making a mockery of you, but they're doing that, right? But those people don't understand that they'll do that for a while and then they'll stop going to that bottle bank. They won't. The money will be just made by the government, and then you'll still get told we're not doing enough recycling. We'll need to up it to 50 cents. We'll need to, and soon it'll be €2. Like it's just another climate scam of taking money off you. It's the electric cars, another example. They give it to you and give you discounts at the start, and all the cheaper tax. But like, that's only for a year or two. Till more of them come in, then you make it there. So it's not to benefit you; it's to keep you in debt, to keep you on the wheel, going around, buy the newest thing. Then it's like the iPhone. Even with my kids, I'd be like, no, you're not getting a new iPhone this year. Like, and they're like, oh, but Dad, the iPhone 14 is out. And I'm like, all right, what's the difference with the iPhone 12? Well, this one is 2 inches or 2 centimeters wider, and it can open. I was like, all right, what else does it do? I don't know. Because they only use it for the same things, like Snapchat. So, like, how far can they take it? But people are dumb. They'll go out and they'll pay €1,500 for this new thing. They're like, oh, I have to have it. We need the newest one. And they're getting roped in. And this is what I was saying to Ninja, what I said in Belclare, or what I said there a while ago. I've done a video when I was over in Barrow Street, telling people, stop paying 500 grand for these houses. Stop doing it. You're putting yourself in a debt. You're not thinking in 10 years down the line. You're thinking it now. You might be in an RI salary now. But as we were talking about, they're going to just keep machine rating these jobs. Like the AI, when it comes in, is going to replace loads of jobs. And then all of a sudden, your gaff could be taken off you. Repossessions coming in. Because the Irish government want to bring that in. That's a big thing we have in Ireland. Very hard to repossess your home. But they're speeding up laws to make that like America, where they take it off you. And these are things that I don't want to see. Nobody should lose their home. Everybody at the end of the week should have enough wages to pay their bills. Like when we were kids, if your dad worked, my dad earned enough money, and he only a small, like a low-paying job, but that would pay everything in the house, and we still got to go, say, down to Mosney, or, he'd give you pocket money on the weekend. Now, like, the two people in the home are working, and you haven't got a penny to give their kids. That's what's happening. They're left with nothing. They're struggling. And the fact is, pennies were only pointing out there not long ago. Pennies, fair play to the pennies, they done their index, and they said that people, it's so sad that in my country, that families are keeping their kids in winter clothes, making them wear them for longer. But to keep, because the heating in the house, can't afford the heating in the house. I mean, if anybody as an Irish person can't sit down and say, this is wrong, it's like elderly, like, I think elderly people, pensioners, should get free gas, free ESP, all their bills should be free, and get their weekly pensions. They worked all their lives, and they shouldn't have to retire at 70. It's madness. Or
that's
68.
Not an outrageous thing to say either, as well too. It's not an outrageous thing to say either, Gavin, because when you're looking at people coming into the country being given everything, I think that has woken up an awful lot of people, like you're saying there. Beforehand there would have been a system, I suppose, or an approach from people that would have said, well, you probably have to contribute something to it. But then when you're looking at people rocking into the place, getting houses handed to them, they're getting free this, free that, free everything. And you're looking at it going like, hang on here, who's the mug here? I'm the person working here. I'm getting taxed to no degree in the wages. I'm paying sales tax. I'm paying fucking property tax. I'm paying tax for this, tax for that. And then you're looking at Paddy Wackery, as you said there earlier on there, Ahmed coming into the country with his mates, and he's living in a gaff, and you're going, he's living $4 down. And you're going, what's the story here? What's going on? Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, here it is. Yeah, you just summed it up. Like, and Americans listen to your show, so just to sum it up for the Yankee audience listening, and I love these Americans, so keep up the work. Now, I just want to sum it up. It's like, I agree with them. So Americans had this real capitalist. They do have this real capitalist event where you have to work for everything. So I'm pointing at Americans right now, ones that are listening. Think of it, because this is happening in Ireland, the same thing, and this is how I feel. So you always go to your garage and you get your fuel, or you go into your local supermarket, you buy a shop, and there's always, say, a homeless man or woman outside. In America, you have homeless vets. The vets are treated terribly. People that fought for the country treated like crap on the Biden's administration. But you come out of your shop and you're seeing him there, and you give him $1, or you give him a cup of coffee, and yet migrants are coming in, going straight into hotels. So, like, you're paying for this. So here in Ireland, I go to Circle K and there's Irish people outside, and I always give them a copy and give them €1 and help them out. And then there's illegal migrants come in and they're getting everything for free. So they're put in a hotel or put in one of these emergency centres, given breakfast, lunch, dinner, a weekly payment, healthcare, broadband, clothing. Well, this person's on the street. And I'm saying to myself, that makes no sense. Sorry for giving out, but that makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. That's leaving their people behind. You just said it. Ahmed or whatever is coming in and getting a gaff, regardless of who he is or what nationality he is or she is. They're coming in getting looked after ahead of your own people. It's happening in America, people in Mexico crossing the border and all these countries going, and you've been doing it in the South. And the problem what's happening is the governors now in New York and all are starting to see what's happening. You've ignored the southern states for so long. So they start saying, oh, start right. You don't care, so we're going to send them up to you now. And then we'll see. And now it's at the overboarding. And now you're realising, we don't have the resources for this. Like, the resources are not there for that. How do you fix a country at war? If there's two countries at war, or if there's a country at war, you send in the military if you have to. If it's a dictator, everyone join together and say, look, we're not going to have this. We need to go in and stabilise that country. You don't just leave it, so all their citizens have to leave their country and start travelling and emigrating into other countries because a dictator or whatever's going on in their country. That's just going to overpopulate your country, where you're not going to be able to provide for these citizens. And Europe is at the being destroyed. Europe's gone. France is gone. And I'm telling people listening, France is gone. You've gone. Italy's gone. They're all in dire straits across the Western world. Hungary's grand. Think that's like, no, you're not coming in here. Good luck, Chip. We'll do our airway. That's what he did. We'll do our airway. And the way we believe
is on him, yeah, big time.
Yeah, but my attitude is, if you want to come to my country and I have room, I want you to respect my ways and respect their ways. And if you don't respect their way of life, well, then get out of my country. Here's an airport. But we don't have to do them anymore. So, in fairness, my empathy is just with my own people, Ninja.
Yeah.
So I don't really care how people feel with that. We need to start deporting people. We've too, like, you know, I've seen on RTE the tents, what happened up the tents. At the end of the day, that's Roderick and the government's fault. Send these men home. We don't have the room. We've Irish people living in tents every day that are treated, that have been forgotten about. So my empathy's with them. That's just, I don't care how people feel about that. It's time to look after our own people.
It's like going to Australia. Like, you know, I know an awful lot of people that go to Australia on holidays and stuff like that, and some of them have done their, you know, their little bit of work over there, but they have to have a certain amount of money that they go across to that place with to be let into the place to do, and then they're vetted to know. Like, I mean, I know fellas as well too that have had JLOs and they didn't declare that on the way over, and they were sent straight back on the first flight back. They didn't get into the country; they were gone. And I was just like, and these are very minor situations that these guys got involved in. And we don't have any system like that at all here whatsoever. And then when you're hearing all of the other things that are coming out, then how people are getting through, and there's ideas and all that, and it's so messy at this stage of the game. It's a very simple thing, in my opinion, that you have a border patrol, border force that's out there that reject these people, and then they have to pay their own money to get themselves out of there. If not, I think that that's a case then that they're country has to pay for them to return, or whatever country they've came from, and you have to force them people to do that, because this whole idea of letting them into the country and this, we'll just end direct provision and have lots of people scurrying around the place is insane. Only a couple of months ago we read a story about a number of fellas that jumped out of a truck. They were hiding in a truck and they ran off and scarpered, and the Gardaí actually put out a statement. They were like, no, we're not going to be chasing those fellas down. What do you mean you're not going to be chasing those fellas down? I don't know who they are. Do you know who they are? And yet these are the same people then that wanted me harassed and hassled going into a gym if I wasn't after taking, you know, the thing from a couple of years ago. I was like, this is banana world, this is. But like I said, going back to what I was saying there, when you have a guy like Leo Varadkar who's somehow again running the country after being under criminal investigation, I think that tells you everything you need to know. I think, you know, then you're like, this place is an absolute joke shop. And the reason why it's become a joke shop is because an awful lot of apathy over the years, but also the fact that there's people that are running for these positions. And that's why I'm speaking to Gavin tonight. I think that's a clear thing that I want to mention as well too, that he's running for an election. You need to be putting people into these positions that are going to be doing what we need them to be doing. You don't need Leo Varadkars, you don't need Simon Harris's, you don't need Stephen Donnelly's, you don't need all of these people that are pretending to be on your side like the Mary Lou McDonald and then going and doing the other thing. You need people that are going to be in there that are going to be doing what Gavin is doing and saying in the Dáil, and more importantly as well too, when they go outside the Dáil, when they're going and meeting people from different places, building a network with people like the likes of Viktor Orban. That's an important thing to be doing. Building a network. I mean, here's the thing. Our gas prices rose to ridiculous levels they did here in this country, along with the oil they did. A lot of people forget that. And they're talking about €150 credit. That's the direct result of bad politics from our government. They decided to side with a country that was never going to win a war against a superpower. And what they decided to do then was they cut their nose off to spite their face, and then that's you being left in the cold. Rather than playing the political game and going, okay, right, saying nothing. First and foremost, because you're a neutral country. But on the flip side of it then as well too, you see Tucker Carlson going across and doing an interview with your man that's running Russia, and you're going, well, what he's saying and doing here seems pretty logical. He's deporting people like there's no tomorrow. The place is clean. Tucker Carlson does a show then going through the place going, the same stuff that I bought here in Russia, which is not being sanctioned because they're still getting Mars bars and Snickers and Twix and various other things there. He's like, they're not being sanctioned. He says, you can run through the places and pay $100 for the stuff, Matt, again, that cost me $400 in America. He said, who's really being sanctioned here? And that's where you're talking about the geopolitics of things. The geopolitics are something that you have to keep an eye on, because an awful lot of what we've imported over the last few years, you look at Palm Murphy's missus, she's an American. She's from, I think she's from Seattle, I think she is, where it's a hotbed of people there that are on the left. And you're looking at the same sort of nonsense being imported from America here into Ireland. I remember 6 years ago going to see Tommy Tiernan, and Tommy Tiernan said the same. This is not the country to come into and try and throw your weight around if you're from another place or try to do ridiculous things. 6 years later, then they're trying to cancel him then. And your woman's getting the one that tried to cancel him then is getting a non-post gig, giving out nonsense, saying, oh, we're going to do a writing competition. You're looking, this is the same bitch that tried to cancel the fella there that's successful. It's crazy. We're living in a banana world, man. Clown world, as they call it.
It's you just summed it up. Like Tucker Carlson, I watched that myself. Was $400 in America, is $100 in Russia, and that's a big important with the geopolitics. What people don't understand, I remember Putin saying that this is going to hurt you more than it hurts us because we have all the oil. So, like, China is going to continue to buy their oil. So this is called the rising east versus the declining west. And for years, we were buying, our government stopped those producers. We sugar factories, we were exporting, and we still do export, but we were exporting everything, and we imported a lot. So you are buying your phones, your Samsung tellies, your this, your that, the other. And at the end of the day, if you look in China, where these are made, the staff are getting paid like a couple of dollars an hour, and you are being paid $8 or $9. But now the staff in their countries, they want a higher salary. So for them to be higher, the products higher, that's inflation. These wars have led to more inflation. So all Europe has done is strangled itself and put itself in direct conflict with the countries that have all the oil. You take Abu Dhabi and Saudi Arabia, they're not taking in any migrants. They're not doing what we're doing. They're laughing at us. They're like, yeah, you look at you, we don't even need to do that in Europe. You're destroying yourself. We're taking in what they don't want. So we're the ones taking the risk, as you said. But like madness arriving in. I remember a gang of the lads were going to see Ricky Hatton years ago over in America, and one of them had a JLO yoke, and he didn't get out of Dublin Airport because America has its own border patrol in Dublin. Yeah. So he didn't get even allowed to go over the fight, and it was like something for the stupid offence. But once again, he scanned it. He was like, you have a criminal, we're not letting you into America. Simple as that. What's happening in Ireland, never forget. They're landing in the airport because you'd have to have a passport to get on the plane in the first place and arrive in Dublin, right? And then they're walking through. God only knows who they are. I want to claim asylum, sent out, given everything for free. We don't know who they are, what their background is. So this is why I believe when we fixed it, and I do believe when we fixed it like that everyone's accountable. So Michael O'Leary, if you're listening, you own Ryanair. You flew these people in. You're responsible as well. Yeah. Everybody that contributes, Dublin Airport, I don't blame the staff. The staff are doing what they're being told. They're going by the procedures that they're being given. So the people that are given them procedures, you're going to be held accountable. So anyone that thinks that they're going to just get away with this, the Mel Sutcliffes of the world, the Banky Naganaimis, all these people that think that like this, that it stays this way, and Banky made 130 million with his whole family, all these, I just want to get this out there. You all think you're going to get away with this, but you're not, because at a later date, nationalists will come. Please God, we all get elected and we fix this country, and we will strip every single thing. You'll have nothing. Michael O'Leary, you can think you can fly to another country, we take everything. Strip all your assets, because if you contribute to doing damage and putting citizens in a country in danger, that's a crime against the state and a crime against the Irish people, and you will be held accountable for it. Because at the end of the day, when you put our citizens in danger, I said this earlier, the first thing a government should do when it forms is the safety and security of its citizens. And if you haven't got a proper border facility where you can't even you're letting any Tom, Dick or Harry into the country, then you're clearly putting citizens in danger. And we have 1,000 unvetted men living on the streets in Dublin. How is that safe for women going to work, or families going to work, or men going to work, kids going to school, when we don't even know who they are or what their background is? And This is we want to break it down with this fact. When I was a kid, and I've taught my kids this, my mum always taught me, and my dad always taught me, when you never talk to strangers. You don't talk to strangers. Stranger danger. And I even flipped that to my kids. But yeah, our government want us to trust strangers. Let any bloke in that we don't know their history or what crimes they commit. Migration is directly connected with crime, because loads of them have committed crime. It's as simple as that.
100%, and I mean, we're saying the articles that are coming out nearly daily at this stage. I mean, serious articles. Like, I remember when I was young, if an incident happened here in Ireland, it was a very big thing for years. You'd know the person's name, you've heard of the names. I don't have to recite them. The names that were always well known to were throughout this country, 4 or 5 of them in particular. Now there's people daily up to things. You had a bomb that went off here in Dublin only a couple of weeks ago. That's been swept under the carpet. The kids that were attacked in broad daylight on Parnell Square, swept under the carpet. They don't want to be talking about that anymore. Forget about it. They want to be more interested in what people are saying on Twitter and taking your ability to say what's happening. You've got there only this week, you've got Anne Delaney there, a homeless Irish woman that passes away on the streets here in Dublin. And the Journal, right? Never is there a media outlet that I dislike more than the Journal. because they decided this week, today, that they'd go around and interview foreigners that are in tents going, it's a bit cold out, lads. Where were they when it came to the Irish homeless people? They're not going to be there. I'm not ever going to expect these people to do the right thing in the journal. It's not going to happen. But they had no interest in that whatsoever, and they do not have a concerted interest in it. Conor McGregor goes out and buys a new van for the Liberty Soup Run, which is a phenomenal gesture. He's donating money as well too. They're not talking about it. When's the last time you've seen a politician doing anything like that? And this is what I'm talking to you about, making moves and things that are doing and people doing the right thing. But like I'm saying, you've got people there that are living on our streets that the media are showing more attention for, more cared about than our own people. You had an arsonist, and this is something that is an accusation that's had to be made towards you, which I have to be honest with you, Gavin, when that was made in the Dáil, I was like, this is absolutely unbelievable stuff here. This is actually Banana Republic stuff here. When someone is making that sort of claim against you, and then you've got a guy then that's caught there, and lucky, you're actually saying who the guy is. Funnily enough, the media like to hide what these people look like, but they can't get away from it now with the names. And they show the image of the guy that's actually been setting fire to places around the place. And I'm going, all right, so that's not a big deal. You're not going to call that out. You're not going to say that's terrorism or anything like that in the Dáil. No, he has a bit of a mental health problem because of the pigment of his skin color. This is the same stuff we've seen in America. They do it all the time. There was an article that came out today from the New York, and the reason why I'm talking about it is because America's linked to this, from the New York subway station, where a black woman went up to a fella that was playing a cello and hit him with a metal bottle. She was released not 2 weeks later, and they said the same thing, bit of a mental health problem there with her. She's back out running around New York like a GTA character after respawning. Tonight, there's had to be an attack on a Dublin lad there on the Dublin bus. 4 foreigners beating him out with poles and stuff like that, allegedly, according to what people are putting up online. That just happened just tonight. And if that's not just an isolated incident. These incidents are going to keep happening again and again and again. And then you've got the likes of your man there, the Muslim fella that's crying, saying he was attacked. I don't know anybody that's supposedly gotten a hematoma and has recovered from that within the time frame that your man did. He must be fucking Wolverine from the X-Men. He's turning around and going, oh, yeah, no, I'm feeling an awful lot better now. And RTE are giving them the little interviews and stuff like that. And this is a fella that regularly posts inflammatory shit on Twitter that are annoying and antagonizing people here. It's ridiculous stuff. And then you have him then saying Muslims need to be protected. And they're like, oh, we're beefing up security for these people. Where was the security on the police for the school when they were attacked? And after the fact, it's not happening. You've got Sadiq Khan, who was a completely reprehensible individual in London. He's now being threatened very seriously by Muslim groups. And you're like, these are the people that you want to be welcoming in, saying Palestine for the Palestinians. I tell you what, you should be heading over to the front line. That's what you should be doing. And all these people that like to say Palestine for the Palestinians and wearing the scarves, none of these people want to join the front line. I keep suggesting it to these people and they're like, you're just a racist. And I'm like, we're the one that's fucking chilling for Palestine, not me. Go on over. So anyway, that's what I want to say about that. That's how I feel. I just also wanted to say tonight, I think you've made it clear, Gavin, and so have I, that we're not the same person. An awful lot of people seem to think that we were the same person for a long time. They were like, are you actually Gavin Pepper? Is that really you? I was like, no.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a lot of people used to say that to me. They used to go, are you and Gavin Pepper one and the same? And I'm like, no.
You'll never know who Ninja is, because Ninja's what they we look at the way you are.
I appreciate that. I do. Big time. I do. 100%. And listen, you're doing great work here. And I really appreciate the fact as well, too, that you answered the questions that were asked tonight, because I know some of them as well, too, can be awkward. And, you know, I think the chat appreciates that. And the thing is, from our side of the fence, transparency is key. The other side are telling lies upon lies upon lies. And this side is just telling the truth. You're just saying that as it is, you know?
Yeah, no, that's the way I do it. But, like, as I said, when I say to people, ask me when you see me, you know, our side shouldn't be going against their side online. Yeah, just giving them head case lefties fake crap that like, you know, to go against us. They're the ones causing the problems. You know what I mean? It's us against them. That's the way it is. That's like, I will always defend my own group, because you know, you're good people. You do great things, and we might not all always agree on the same things, but we all want the major one thing, and that's for a free Ireland, where our own people looked after first, and send all these illegal migrants home and start housing our own people. Like this is the main core, about looking after our own people and our culture and our heritage saved. I think everybody in the country wants that, and our healthcare service fixed. You know, it's time we fix the problem. Like, we've major problems in our country. Mass migration. Migration is contributing to all of it. And we have to clamp down, send home the illegals, stop the tax breaks for these vulture funds and these tech companies, and start giving tax breaks to families and Irish small businesses and the farming industry and the fisheries who actually need the help, because that's where their taxes should be going, to our own people. And if you want to call me racist for that, well then go ahead. I love me people. What's wrong with that?
Fully agree with you there, and especially the farmers as well too. When you're seeing them rising across Europe, and I hope our farmers do the same thing here. I hope they don't take anything lying down with this shower, you know. We just have Ferg Power there in the chat. Says Ninja Knight, great talk, boys. Bring family, friends, your beautiful tricolours, and your indomitable Irish tenacity and spirit on Sunday. We need to stand as one in this battle for the soul of Eire. God bless you all. Absolute legend there, absolute legend. Come here, Gavin, before we drop off, because I know it's 2.5 hours. I'm sure you're a busy man. You're up to things this evening as well. I appreciate you coming on tonight. Is there anything that you wanted to say, or anything that you wanted to broadcast out there whilst you're on here tonight?
Yeah. Well, like Ferg summed it up. You know, like they've called us every name under the sun, but we're together. So you know, you can't be family. So you're not going to be the Irish mammy and the Irish family. You know, the Irish mother is the toughest woman in the world. Like that's my opinion. You know? And you know, the men in Ireland do what the women says. That's the way it is. You know, we'll defend our women and defend the family, and we all need to stick together on that and not back down. And I encourage people not to be afraid to speak out. And I get it all the time. I be honest with the opposition, so it doesn't really matter. Like, but don't be afraid. Keep fighting on. When you see wrong being done, you know, with the Nolans and what that country is doing to people, when you see wrong and you know it's wrong, you have to fight back against it. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to show your face. Don't be afraid to call them out. It's not about being brave. It's about like doing what's the right thing. And this government is just doing what the wrong thing is, and people are just moving along with it. So I just want to give a shout out to all the patriots and all the Irish people, and the people even that don't show their faces and that can't do it because of their jobs and all. Everybody makes a contribution that in your way for speaking out and supporting. And like, hopefully the people, fingers in Ballymun, please God, love is a vote is good. Do my best I can for the community, and vote for everybody. People in Ballybrack, vote for Ferg Power. Like, vote these people, vote for these people right across the country. Vote Derek Bly in Cork. Vote these people. They want what's better for your country. You might not agree with them on everything, but that we mean a hell of a lot better than what the government and the opposition and the Dáil means, because all they mean is pro-Europe, which is to destroy this country and put you as a third-class citizen. So don't mean to rabble on, but I'm just saying, keep up the fight. See us on Sunday, where we push and we let the women speak, because it's not political. So what be no political about Sunday. Sunday is just women speaking about voting now and protect the constitution of the right and the mother in the home, because we're not going to let them win all the time. You have to fight back and you have to rise up. Love this country. There's nothing wrong with loving Ireland. And it was a great show, Ninja, and I hope the listeners enjoyed it. You know, like, it's nervous coming on to these shows. You don't know what way people react, but at the end of the day, I just say how I feel and how it is, and you know, I'll answer any question on like the dog.
Yeah, that's all I like to do here. I'd like to ask people questions, and also as well too, like the chat as well too. They dictate an awful lot what goes on as well. If they're asking a question, I have to bring her up, and I'm saying, right, okay, that's a good one. You know what I mean? And we're going to say a big shout out to the chat here tonight for doing that, and also as well too for being here. I mean, it's over 200 people here listening. I'm sure there's been a couple of crusties listening in that we're hoping for a few clips here tonight. Hoping for a few clips here tonight. They might have got them, but they might not have as well too. And the other thing with these shows as well too, I think that's helping as well, is it's showing another side as well too, because you know, something that I don't like is the fact that guys like yourself, Gavin, Philip, and Derek in particular, and Mick as well too, and Toby that's there, these guys are getting vilified. I just want to say that these guys that like Gavin here are getting vilified, including Gavin, are getting vilified by the media they are for speaking up. And to me, I think that that's incredibly wrong. And I think the fact that they're not being given a voice, I mean, Gavin should be on the likes of an RTE, or he should be on the likes of Virgin Media, the same way as John McGurk was been, and especially with the fact that he's going to be a candidate, I think she'll be on there and she'll be talking and she'll be speaking out against these people and these things. That's why I'm doing it here on this channel, because I said to myself, listen, there's nobody else that's doing this. There's nobody else that wants to be giving the lads a shout, and I want to be giving them a shout. So I'm hoping to have more of these chats to come on the channel. I know that everybody's enjoying it, and the chat here, I have to say, is overwhelmingly positive for you as well too. And I think the message is really good, and I think I speak for all the chat as well too when we say that we hope that these things are going to turn the tide of what's happening here in this country, and we hope that guys like yourself are going to be the ones that are going to help to turn the tide, and they're going to change things. Europe is a big thing. It's a big problem. We need to get out of it as soon as possible, especially when everything that we're getting is top down from Europe. This return scheme, the return people on Twitter confirmed it was a EU directive. So the EU told them what to do, and now they're doing it, and we need out of that. Farmers, fishermen as well too, need to go. We need to go. That's the big thing. So Armchair Limerick Nationals, before we join now, it says Ninja Knight, Sound, Ninja and Gavin, well done. So guys, I'm back on the 15th of March. I'll be dropping some videos then in between now and then. I'm hoping, I'm going to be telling Gavin now to get onto YouTube himself and start up a YouTube channel, which I think is what he should be absolutely doing, putting up the videos there. And I want to just say a big thanks to Gavin for coming on tonight, because like he said there as well too, these things are daunting, and with the haphazard nature of this channel, you never know what's going to come with your way. And I really appreciate him for coming on tonight and answering the questions and talking at length now for 2.5 hours. I'd say you're knackered now, Gavin, are you?
I know, I love talking. I'll tell you, please God, I like to go into that doll and do a lot of talking to get rid of these chances in that doll that destroying this country, Ninja. So it was a great show, and as I said, I don't want to stop. I'm not going to stop. But look, look at, throw everything at us with the kitchen sink. They're not going to win while trying to protect the future of our kids. Simple as that. 100%. I have to. I have 6 kids. I don't have a choice. I have 6 kids, and I won't stop until I know their future is set. It's not about me.
Thing. And I think a lot of people feel the same way as you do. Like, I mean, I think they feel an awful lot of passion. That's why the left never understand. You don't get the passion here, because a lot of these people ain't procreating, and it's never going to happen for these individuals. So they're looking at you and me and others that are out there, and they're like, they can't fathom why people are doing what they're doing. But you have a sense of duty there, and that's the thing, and that's what's important, and that what these people will never get and know what they'll never understand. So that's a big point, and that's a talking point for sure as well too, that needs to be brought up more. Like you're saying, the mothers as well too, like they're ones that are going to have to be talking about ad nauseum as well too, and on a mass for the next couple of weeks, because this no to both is what I'll say here. And Gavin, thanks very much for reminding me of that there, that a no to both of them is absolutely what people should be doing next week on the 8th. So again, thanks Gavin. We're going to leave it there. I hope to have you on the channel again, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon. All right. Thanks very much, and good night everybody, and don't forget the other clowns like Mark Malone and all. They'll be all held accountable as well. Lovely.